Am I live now? Is everybody right? Okay, give me 2 seconds, guys. I'm just going to read the chat real fast. Right. Who's here? Because I've just spent the past 5 minutes talking to you guys, and there's a good chance you can hear it, but for some reason OBS said I'm live, so I started, greeted everybody, said hello, and then I kept glancing over at the chat thinking, why isn't anybody talking to me? And then I realised my intermission screen was still on. But I've turned it off. It's off for me now. So I don't know what exactly went wrong, but welcome, foolish mortals, to our live stream. And I am so sorry about the delay, but I have no idea what went wrong. I've literally been sitting here playing and talking to you guys for the last 5 minutes. Maybe 10. Probably longer. Unbelievable. I'm really angry about that. I'm going to get super mad about, like, I'm trying not to get super mad about the fact that, you know, you guys have been sitting here waiting patiently, talking to each other and talking to me and not being responded to. But it wasn't my fault. My OBS, for some reason, just doesn't want to play ball. It's experiencing some kind of complication. But hello, everybody. How are you? How is everyone? I do apologise for that. I feel really crummy now because I was just talking to everyone for the last 10 minutes. Like, live, playing along and, like, coming up with ideas and having a chat with you guys and telling you all how it is. So, yeah. Anyway, where are we? Because, yeah, I noticed that some of you guys are saying, when's this going to start? And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, when's what going to start? Because I've been playing for 10 minutes, so... Yeah, anyway, my sincerest apologies, guys. I hope everybody's okay. I hope everyone can forgive me. And, yeah, bear with me while I rekindle my motivation, because now I just feel depressed. I'm angry about that. But either way, we're here, we're playing Little Nightmares 2. I have myself a tall, cold beverage to help steady my nerves. And the game is just there for background noise, as it were, because, annoyingly... yeah, sorry. Annoyingly, the game didn't kick. The game was playing, but my intermission screen was just locked on. I've got it set up. There appears to be some kind of disconnect between my OBS and my stream deck. But either way, you guys can all hear me. I can see what you're saying, and you guys can see the gameplay now, apparently. So all is well with the world. No, don't worry. Flaw, you haven't missed anything. The video hadn't started. But for some reason, it had for me. According to me, I've been live for 19 minutes, according to my screen over here, but something went wrong. But either way, everybody can hear me. So hello, how is everyone today? Today, the game is just there for sort of background noise, as it were, you know, and as a means to inspire us by exploring a couple of environments and giving us something to talk about. But, and we got our little paper bag boy who's currently a tin can boy. He says, hey. Hey! And yeah, and I just want to theorise with a lot of you guys, because I read my comments, all of them, and there are hundreds of them, so forgive me. There's a whole bunch of you guys that come up with some really good theories and say some really kind words, and you have a lot to talk about and a lot to discuss, and I feel like I don't get to address it in my comments, because at the end of my theory videos, I will address, like, the top 3, you know, like 3 that I particularly enjoyed. But it doesn't mean that I didn't enjoy the rest of them. It just means that I do not have time to address them all and read them all and go through everything. I do read them all, but I can't respond to them all because it would just take forever. So sitting here in a live stream with you guys gives me a prime opportunity to come in and listen to what you have to say live. And then I can actually respond to it live, in real time. But obviously, I can't message each and every one of you individually, so it helps to just conglomerate as one unit. Because we are many, we are legion, and we are here. So, how is everyone, and what's on everyone's mind? Also, how's the sound? Is the music okay? You know, am I too loud? Is the game too loud? Is the game too quiet? What's everybody's thoughts on the audio situation right now? Because I would hate for everybody to be tapping away and not being able to hear what I have to say, but also I would hate for you not to be able to enjoy this amazing OST. Whack! And also, I did expect this one to be a little bit quieter, so you guys can have a chance to have your conversation. and let me know about your thoughts and theories and stuff, and hopefully I'll be able to read most of them, because when this game I'm playing intentionally early, because the majority of you guys, I got a message as soon as I put out the community post saying, by the way, I'm going live. I got about 20 messages saying, oh, I'm not going to make it, I'll be at school, I'm not going to make it, I live on the other side of the world. And I understand that time differences do make it a bit difficult. So I am trying to read as much as I can and be involved as much as I can. Hey, Keimer Heinessen made it. It is good to see you, my brother. I wasn't expecting to see you here, actually, because Kai is another example of one of the people who lives around the world. And because of the time difference, it's a little bit difficult for everybody to get in, because some people are at school, some people are at work, some people have studying to do, and some people are sleeping because it's like 5 a.m. Whoops. Particularly some of those folks down under in Australia. You guys might not have much opportunity to chat with me. Oh, clang. All right then. Let's see where we're at. Okay. Can I get a shout out for my channel mascot Mal? It would mean a lot to him. Mal? Is that how I say that? Is it Mal or Mai? How do I say it? I wouldn't want to get it wrong, but absolutely you can have a shout out for your channel mascot Mal. JK Mal 1903. You think anyone for the audiobook will show up in Little Nightmares 3? I think that there will be some subtle nods to it. I don't know if we'll essentially get like a full-blown character and be able to recognise them, but I think there will be like... There could be some like... I'm thinking, like there's pictures here. If you look in this room, look on the wall. There's pictures up there. One of the hunter's cabin and the other one of an old design for the hunter that kind of looks a lot like the doctor. Well, I think that if we do see Otto or Cece or any of the characters from Sounds of Nightmares, it might be as a cameo appearance in pictures and stuff like that, more likely. Yeah, maybe a hint of them potentially. I'd love to see what happened with Otto too. Sounds great. Excellent. Six's music box is a bop. It legitimately is. I learned to play it on piano, and I went to my friend's house the other day because he invited us all over for dinner, and he has a big grand piano in the room, so I just took it upon myself to sit there and play Six's theme. And he was like, what was that? That was really nice. And I was like, yeah, it's lovely, isn't it? Why do I think it... Oh, wait, great character writing. Yes, absolutely great character writing. Couldn't agree more. To think that these characters have such impacts on us, and they all have such, like, intrinsic personalities without speaking a word is just phenomenal. Excellent. Perfectly done. Why do you think every kid in this world doesn't wear socks or shoes? I think it's because the... Well, it could be for one of two reasons. When I first discovered that characters in the Little Nightmares universe don't wear socks and shoes, I thought it was intentional. I thought they would take off their shoes so that they could creep quieter. So that they can sneak around without being heard. Like in the film A Quiet Place. If you're wearing shoes and you're walking across like a hardwood floor or a metal floor or something, it's going to make more sound than it would if you were creeping around barefoot. But since the Sounds of Nightmares has been released and it's shown us that children are mostly taken in their dreams or in their sleep, it stands to reason that the clothes that we see the children in the Nowhere are the clothes they slept in, which is why a lot of them, like Flashlight Girl and not Raincoat Boy, Runaway Kid, and others like that, they're all in pyjamas or sleepwear. But they don't wear shoes because you don't wear shoes for bed. And then anything that they're wearing externally, like Mono's paper bag or Six's raincoat, they probably found in the Nowhere. The same as Law, because if you look at Law's design, it says he's been there for a long time. So he's fashioned himself a cape and a paper mache raven mask and such. So yeah, I think that's why. Hey Gemini. So I was in school and you were live, but that's fine, no problem. Well, I'm glad you're here, Kai. Fire Fun Time, you're right, there's a circus and carnival. Yes, there is a circus/carnival, and I cannot wait to see it. Definitely a possibility. Hope you get more Sounds of Nightmares. Do you think people in the cabin are alive, like George said? They could very well be. At least if they're not now, I think it's because the hunter is missing something that the doctor has. So I think what the hunter might be trying to do is replicate what the doctor does, because in fact, if we head up here, if we make a little bit more progress, if we head upstairs, you'll notice that the hunter actually has mannequin parts in the attic. If I go just up here, there are mannequin parts, like, you know, the patients in the hospital, and I think that the doctor and the hunter could very well be related, because that picture on the wall, I'm sure you guys can't see it, but it looks an awful lot like the doctor, but it's apparently the hunter. And as you can see here, there's pieces of the mannequins in these boxes, you know, the masks, the arms and stuff, and even a full-blown mannequin body up there. I think that the hunter is here trying to replicate what the doctor's doing. I think he might be trying to bring these to life, and failing miserably, apparently. So I think so. And I said it right. I'm glad. Multiplayer focusing on that feature, would that make single player worse? And for the whole choosing, I don't think it would. I honestly think that because they've given, I think you've hit the nail on the head by saying exactly that. It's a choice. It's a choice to feature, to play single player or multiplayer. So you don't have to. You're not necessarily tied in. So if you think multiplayer ruins it, then just play single player, because the AI will operate exactly the same as 6 does here. And we aren't complaining about this because it's excellent. Gemini, have you seen the theory where Mono nods for 6 to drop him if you search up first person playthrough? Ooh. No, Solar Max, I did not see that theory, and that's really interesting. I have actually played first person and watched watched Six's face, but I've never seen it from Six's perspective. So that's interesting. I didn't know that he'd give her a nod. I mean, it could be accidental, but, you know, it could very well be that it was intentional. Maybe Mono's like, you know what, yeah, let me go. It's been 2 months since we got any news about Little Nightmares 3. Do you think we're getting something big soon? I do. And don't quote me on this, but if you remember, Little Nightmares 2 was released in 2021 on February the 11th. And that's coming up. February 11th might be a key date for us to get something. It might not be anything really substantial, but it could be, it might just be some more screenshots or something. I'm not expecting like a full-blown trailer or a release date just yet. I'm hoping so, don't get me wrong, but I really hope that's true, because I don't know for certain. But yeah, I think if we're going to get anything, it will be around the 11th of February this year. Do you think that it's most likely that we get Mirror Man as an enemy or the Ferryman in... I think Ferryman is definitely going to be a part of it in one way or another, even as a cameo appearance. I don't think the Mirror Man is guaranteed. I think the whole mirrors concept is a red herring. I think that we're supposed to think it's the Mirror Man. Because if you think, the original comics, like I've got back there, the Mirror Man features in them and them alone, but it was retconned. They've non-canonized it now. The Mirror Man is essentially a non-canon character. So it could be that they've put the mirrors in there, letting all of the OG fans like myself and a lot of you guys who started out with the original to think, oh yeah, it must be the Mirror Man. And then right at the last minute, they turn it around and be like, actually, no, it's Six. And Six is using the mirrors because she has power over them, and she knows the power of the mirrors because she has the lady. So she defeated the lady with the mirrors. And then she absorbed the lady's power, the black smoke and stuff. So it could be that Six has learned to manipulate the mirrors using that black smoke power that she absorbed from the lady. And maybe that's how she ties into being the actual boss in this one. Like maybe Dark Six could be our ne'er-do-well, our mystical mirror monster. But again, I have no idea just yet. I think the Maw as a building is an equivalent to the Signal Tower. Yeah, me too. I think it's alive. I think the Maw is alive. And I think the Signal Tower was alive too. He has an arm and a faceplate. Yes, he does. For Little Nightmares 3, how are they going to make the death scenes? For example, when player 1 dies, what happens to player 2? Oh, I think it'll just fade to black. I think it's going to be that, like when Mono dies here and Six is just there like, well, I think it'll just fade to black and then put us both in a fetal position of some kind. But I don't think it'll let you play on without the other player. Apart from the kid in the red scarf, the fat kid, or more nicely, the lollipop kid, why did they do my boy like that, calling him fat? I know, right? I call him lollipop kid, because I was a fat kid for a good long time. If you guys check my channel, not now, you don't have to, but I made a video, about 2 years ago showing my physical body transformation. And it's basically me working out in the gym over the course of a year. The video's only 3 minutes long, but it breaks down like what I used to look like versus what I look like now. And I was a big boy. Like I was fat. I was very overweight. Dangerously so, and I managed to fix it. So if you guys haven't seen that video, it might be worth checking out. But yeah, so calling him the fat kid kind of hit home a little bit for me, especially considering some people say Lollipop Boy and me have the same hairdo. Maybe the Doctor's just shipping these parts to the Hunter to help him. Yeah, it could be. He could very well be. They might be on the same side. They could be related. They could just be helping each other. Something George said that I thought was very interesting was that the paper Law holds from the trailer was an invite to the Maw. Ooh. Yes, it could be. We don't actually know what it is, do we? Because it's one thing to think that it's a map of some kind. Because he seems to, like, he comes out of the mirror. As soon as we see the gameplay trailer, he bursts out of that mirror with Alone. He checks she's alright, he picks her up, and then he has a look at this paper, doesn't he? And he's like, what is this? Well, he knows what it is. He pulls it out of his pocket, he opens it up, and then he puts it away. So it seems to be that he's following it, but we don't know if it's a map or a list of instructions or indeed an invitation. Quite right. I think they would put it at the end like other game NPCs. Yeah, potentially. Does the hunter makes mannequins theory imply that the hunter has been to the hospital? Maybe for the gunshot or the missing arm? Yes, absolutely it does. It definitely does. Also, something I noticed earlier is, you know the ghost kid? He only has one arm. And I wonder if maybe he grew up to be the hunter. And maybe that's why you see pictures of the ghost kid in the hospital. It could just... And maybe that's why he knows that this is possible, because he's managed to animate his own arm. So he's like, it does work, I figured it out. So, but he doesn't know how to make something else animate like the Doctor does. I got a theory that the world of the Nowhere was once a fully functioning world like the counties. This could show us more about the dwellers and viewers. Yeah, I agree. I was thinking of something like that in a theory video that I called the Fallen Theory? No, the Super Weapon Theory. In the Super Weapon Theory, I speculated that once upon a time, the Nowhere was fully functional. You know, just like our world is. They have society, they have jobs, they have society. Don't know if I already said that, but either way, yeah, and that it was actually not a bad place, but it was corrupted. And I thought the super weapon was kind of like the Nowhere's Hiroshima. It was basically like, you know, the whoever's in charge. So it would be the what are they called? The Spectrals. The Spectrals are basically like, nope, you know, we're in control now, and anyone that doesn't like it, you get super weaponed. And this set the giant, the monster baby upon the necropolis, turned everyone to stone. And that could be a thing. 'Tis Nice Game says, hey, how are you? Good to see you. I think that Little Nightmares 3 will... Oh, wait, sorry, I'm missing some of these, guys. I do apologise. You see... In the one of the wind-up boxes in Very Little Nightmares, could that be a sign that he really does exist in the Little Nightmares universe still? The Mirror Man I'm talking about it. Yes, absolutely, Zushiku, I agree. I think that any of the characters that we've seen in Very Little Nightmares come out of the music boxes can be implied that they are at least somewhat canon. Especially considering some of those characters can be seen in pictures. So even that, the Mirror Man, not just the picture of him in the Very Little Nightmares one, but in Little Nightmares itself, there are portraits of the Mirror Man in there as well. There's a lot of debate surrounding it, but I think he is a canon character. I definitely think he exists. I think the Little Nightmares 3 will come out somewhere in September or July. I feel like it'll be June. I'm thinking it's going to be a summer release, but I could be mistaken. But just a little throwback. Maybe. Me and my friends theorised that the North Wind is Otto because of his non-physical form in the Little Nightmares. But yeah, that's interesting. That could be that's potentially true, Solamax, because we don't know what became of Otto, but we do know that he was not prepared to stop trying to get to the Nowhere, and he hates everyone. Like, Otto is prepared to torture anybody to get his own way. So it would stand to reason that he could be the North Wind. I'm not sure exactly how it would tie in, but aside from just his general demeanour. Let's play a little bit more. I think Ghost Kid is the hunter too. Potentially. Maybe. Yeah, because there's a couple of nods in here that make me think that the hunter and the doctor are in cahoots. Ribs. Ah, kick. Go away, gnarled hand. Oops. I've got stuck on there once before, so I'm always dead cautious when I'm doing that bit. Okay, we go. Let's go up here. I can't believe that my live didn't work immediately. Really mad about that. It still bothers me because I know some of you guys were sitting here waiting dead patiently. I'm there talking away like I've got an audience. Wee up, maggot. Heave ho! Oh, shoot. Okay, let's try again. Heave ho! Okay. Right, wait. Let's go again. Also, yeah, I apologise for those of you guys that came here to watch me play Little Nightmares. I'm not going to be playing a lot. A lot of this, the whole idea of this stream is so that I can hear you guys, so that I can talk to you and theorise with you and discuss. You know, the game just being there as background music is more for if we do have a quiet period. You know, if the views start to slow down, or if in fact we run out of things to talk about, and then I'll just keep moving forward. But yeah, who do you think the people in the concept art observing the Doctor is? They could just be viewers, or like, you know, the old denizens of the Pale City. In fact, that Doctor could very well be yeah. That's interesting, actually. Maybe the Doctor, because the reason people go to meetings like that, especially back in the old days, is that people will go to theatre to watch the Doctors operate, especially when they come up with groundbreaking technology. I think it was Nikola Tesla did one before, where he said he can reanimate the dead using electricity. And he couldn't necessarily, you know, but it was basically what started the defibrillator. You know, that clear, that thing. Well, the idea of that came from Nikola Tesla in the middle of this thing, where he basically got a body of a dog, and he zapped it with like 10,000 volts of electricity, and it started to move. And he's like, "Look, this works. We can bring it back to life." And he had a big audience of his peers. Well, the Doctor, that image could be of the Doctor saying, "Look, I know how to animate the inanimate. I've figured out immortality, look," and he's showing the denizens of the nowhere. One of them could even be the hunter, and he takes that information home, decides to practice it himself. I miss Mr. Noodle Arms. Ghost Kid was never seen by me. To say more, which makes it even more sus. Definitely it's possible. I'm constantly thinking about the hands in the trailer. What are they? I'm convinced they are Giga Roger. They could be anything at this point. I have no idea. But I'm hoping that it is a new monster. For some reason, I get the feeling that it's more of a minor enemy than a major one. I don't know why. I just feel like it could be a minor enemy. But I have no idea. I really don't know. I just came up with this idea that maybe somebody found Roger's body with no arms and decided to like do a hunter and basically attach a whole bunch of arms to him, so he ends up with like 20 arms, and that's how he moves forward now. He's just crawling through the vents and stuff. Those hands scare me, bro. Yeah, honestly, they are creepy. Rat King could be the thing. Yeah, absolutely, Rat King. I saw the concept art for the Rat King. I can't remember who drew it now, but it looked very, very good. Not a Rat King, but with human arms instead. Yeah, honestly, can you imagine? Like, there was actually a creepypasta called The Rat Man. And it was based on a true story, and it was horrific. It was like a man, but he lived in the sewers, and he had like a long distended face with big rat's teeth and sunken dark eyes. He was horrible to witness. Great creature concept though. Sounds of Nightmares really made me not care that much that Six isn't a proper main character in this one. I'm nearly sure that she's going to appear in some way though. Yeah, me too, Cool Games. I do feel like she's too intrinsic to the franchise. Like, she's too important not to at least have a cameo appearance. If Six doesn't appear, I'll never know what happens. She can't just be standing above the moor. Yeah, imagine if she just stays there. No, I think if she either stayed outside the moor or she went back in and took over it. Because, like, what's stopping her, honestly, at that point? Sounds of Nightmares was quite confusing for me, and I don't know why. Yeah, it was confusing for me too. I had to listen to it a couple of times. Chaos says that actually makes so much sense. What does? I hope you're talking about me. I hope I make sense. Because it's one thing to read my notes and sound clever, but it's another to do it straight off the dome like this. But it's a lot of fun, because I base a lot of what I say on what you guys say. So you guys are like, if I read like 80 comments, so if I get like 80 to 100 comments on a video, and the majority of them are saying, you know, what's the deal with Laura's anklet, then I'll think about that considerably more than I would think about like what's Ghost Kid's relevance to the story. But yeah, it's interesting, and it's good to see you guys in the chat and conversing with not only me but with each other as well. It's great. This is the whole idea of this stream, is to talk to you guys about what you think is really going on. What else did we say? Sounds of Nightmares was something I used before sleeping. Gets me thinking as I use my imagination to help me sleep. Sorry for those. And Fantasia. Yeah, I actually have a bunch of sleep conditions myself, some of which are potentially dangerous, but it does mean that I understand quite a lot about sleep, which is another reason why this franchise really speaks to me. Giga Roger, help! Right, if any of you guys have watched my Talisman Theory video, it was the most recent theory video I did. I read one of the comments at the end and speculated that the thing in the pipes could be Giga Roger. Yeah, man. If anybody's familiar with Rat King's concept art, you know, yeah, absolutely. And if you guys aren't familiar with the concept of the Rat King, have a little look, because it's an idea that somebody came up with. I'm not sure who, and I wish I could name them, but I might actually reference it in one of my upcoming videos, and you might be able to see some of the concept art I've seen drawn up for Little Nightmares make me wish I was a better artist, because they are fantastic, some of these ideas. One of them was called Little Nightmares 3 Gilded Cage. There's a concept for Little Nightmares 3 called Gilded Cage, and they came up with characters, they came up with a theme, they came up with a new character, they came up with enemies, a storyline. It was brilliant. It was actually fantastic. I feel like it would make an amazing fan game. Where's Google? Let me see this. I'm learning stuff. Rojim. Yeah, it's like I imagine Roger's kind of like a Pokemon, and he just, like, you know, you chop his arms off, but he evolves, and then he ends up just having tons of arms. Six would just have a very Little Nightmares role in the new game. VLM role. I'm sorry, I'm probably not reading that right because chat's going a little bit quick. But yeah, timeline's so confusing. Yeah, it kind of is. Just looked at the Rat King concept. Yeah, don't imagine being eaten alive by it. Jesus. You and Jord are seriously the best Little Nightmares series. Oh, thank you, Cool Games. I appreciate that. Jord is the king. Like, it's just Jord is the absolute king of Little Nightmares theorists. He inspired me to do this. Without just Jord, I wouldn't make them. I'd think about them. I'd still have all the ideas and everything like that. I'd still watch the videos and I'd still love the franchise. But I wouldn't deep dive like I do if Jord didn't inspire me to do so. It's just Jord is the man when it comes to Little Nightmares theories. And Poppy Playtime theories as well, but I don't play that much Poppy Playtime. But I play a lot of Little Nightmares. I remember when Jord was making theories about how tall the lady was. Yeah, Jord's covered practically everything. I really hope there's Tarantula Boss in Little Nightmares 3. Well, we have insects. And also in the Little Nightmares electronic comic for Little Nightmares 2 that came out for mobile, there was an idea that there was a creature, like an underground creature, like a mole, in the Toddlers episode, which was episode 2, I believe. In Very Little Nightmares happens to 6 while it's in that time when the Nowhere is trying to convince her to stay permanently. 6 is Cece. That would explain about 6 and Otto care about the core. Yeah, it would. Yeah. I'm still torn on who I think Cece could be, because obviously a yellow raincoat is something, but we don't know if it's 6's raincoat. We don't know if 6 is Cece. We don't know if Raincoat Girl is Cece, or we don't know if Cece is someone entirely different and just came from somewhere else. Like, maybe Raincoat Girl got the raincoat from Cece. Maybe Cece is someone we've already met. Maybe she's someone we've never met. We just have no idea. Maybe she's just a photo on the wall in the nest, for all we know. Literally going to be in the hospital looking. We need some type of spider enemy. Ooh, yeah. I mean, it'd be cool. Gemini, I'm currently picking my school subjects for S3. Wish me luck with the best of luck. Best of luck with anything regarding your education. I honestly could not agree more. To get educated is something that I wish I did a long time ago. So choose carefully. Some advice that I was given is to try and look forwards, like look towards the future. So if you're thinking of something that you want to do, but none of your friends are doing it, tough. It doesn't matter, because your friends and their goals may not align with yours. And if they don't, so be it. Do you know how many of my school friends are currently YouTubers? Zero. Do you know how many of them can edit video? Zero. Not a single solitary one. Nobody I knew back in the day has made a significant difference to my standing now. And I'm happier than I've ever been. Make sure that you take yourself and what you want and your future into consideration. It doesn't matter what your friends say. Obviously, you can ask their opinions, and if they are going the same route as you, then great, you'll have somebody to connect with, but you will make friends along the way. Choose your subjects wisely and make sure that they all pertain to an end goal so that you're always moving forwards. Don't just pick them for the sake of picking. When I chose history as a subject, it was literally because I had to pick one or the other, and I regretted that decision. I didn't think it through. I love history now, but 10 years ago it was a different story. So yeah, just make sure it's all on you. Gemini, do you think it'll be a Little Nightmares 4? Yeah, if Little Nightmares 3 is successful, I absolutely do. Because I don't think Bandai and Supermassive have taken on the IP to do one game. I think there's a lot more to come. I think I'll play the game alone since the first I've caught. Yeah, I'm going to play alone first, Sushiku. Because I think so. I think it's better played alone. But then maybe at a later date I'll play it with other people as well. Just to get a feel of it, because I feel like I'd be doing it in just... Also, I feel like there will be trophies and achievements tied to playing the game with someone. Maybe the other way around. Why would Tazia create so much enemies and characters just to not have them in a game? Well, it's because these games are limited, so... You'll notice that with like AAA games and bigger games, sometimes they overstay their welcome, so they'll have like hundreds of concepts and dozens of ideas, but there's no way to fit them in a linear pattern. So it's like the barber, for instance, a fantastic idea, but it would be a lot of work to create this character and create his environment and make him fit into the storyline for what could essentially be a very fleeting appearance. Like the barber appears in a barber shop, which is probably no bigger than my office. With a couple of chairs and things like that, and maybe a back room for storage. So unless he's going to chase you out of the barber shop and into the school, or between the school and the hospital, then, it's a very, very limited space to put all of that effort into creating this character and the concept of him and everything like that. Same with the lunch lady. You've seen how big the school cafeteria area is. We traverse it at walking speed as Mono in a helmet in about 15 to 20 seconds. So it's hard to justify having the lunch lady have a really big role, considering how difficult it would be to create that character and put her in the game and make it fit. So I think that's all it is they're literally limited to time, because as much as we would appreciate a longer game, they don't want to waste time, resources and effort and potentially lose money as well. Little Nightmares 3 is essentially made 4 different experiences with choosing low, alone, or alone, alone, and online. Yeah, absolutely. It's got replay value. I mean, they all do, but yeah. Flaws playing with their dad. Absolutely. I love that. I like playing video games with my dad. It's rare that I get to anymore, but it's brilliant when we do. It's a lot of fun. Everybody, what's your theory for Six betraying Mono? Mine is one where he wants her to drop him, like I commented earlier. That's interesting. I'm not entirely sure, because I used to think that it was because that's the first time she sees him without the bag. And the first time she sees him without the bag on, she drops it, at least canonically. Because you've got to remember that although Mono reveals his face, like now, I can literally change my hat and have Mono reveal his face now. And be like, Six, look, get a load of me. Why doesn't she kill me now? But canonically, he doesn't take off the bag until the fight with the Thin Man, after Six has already been taken. And I used to think that it was because when she catches him, she finally gets a look at his face, and she's like, and then it sinks in, she realises who he is and what he's about, and what he's going to become. So she thinks, right, let him go, kill him, and stop the cycle kind of thing. But I don't know, that's what I used to think, but a lot's been revealed since then and I can't pin it. I like to think that there's some emotion behind Six, but I also know that Six is pretty ruthless, so she could very well have just decided, you know what, you've you've run your course. Like, I won't ever need you again. Goodbye. Maybe Yellow Raincoat is Six's talisman. Yes, maybe the Yellow Raincoat is Six's talisman. It could be her protective kit. It could very well be. That's interesting, actually. I like that. Have you noticed the body in the lollipop pile? Yes. Gabriel Jenkins, yes, I did notice that. And I addressed it in one of my first ever theory videos called the Candyland Theory. Because that was my favourite screenshot. And you know who that body reminds me of? Dr. No. Do you remember the picture of Dr. No from Little Nightmares 1? It was in the game files, and it looks like the Dr. Ingen from Static, which is another Tarsier game, but it's basically a portrait, and the Dr. No's face is obscured. He's wearing a red tie and a white lab coat, and he's got big, thick, chubby hands like the chef's. And this character, who's buried under all of that stuff, they also have chubby hands and a white coat, but we can't see any more of them. But I think that's who that could be. And I think that might even be Otto. It's like, if you check out the theory, I do go on to explain it a lot better than I have time to do now. Probably play with a friend the first time. Yeah, don't blame your chaos. 6 shows up with Little Nightmares 3 that make 6 T.S. Owen the only one without her. Yeah, that's another reason why I think like Sounds of Nightmares is the only one without her, and even then it references a yellow raincoat. She still kind of gets a shout out, and it plays her theme. Like you can hear 6 humming in Sounds of Nightmares. Because she doesn't know what the Thin Man looks like, Gemini. Oh. Well, I mean, she does know what Thin Man looks like, but I suppose she doesn't know that Mono would turn into him. Which is another reason why I'm not entirely sure, because it's like, it's one thing to look into his eyes and be like, oh no, he's Thin Man, but how do you know? Like, how do you know that? Unless they have the same eyes, which I'm assuming they would, but I'm not really sure. Again, I'm not sold on it. It was a theory I came up with like 3 years ago, before Sounds of Nightmares and before I even started theorizing. It was just like, it broke my heart when 6 dropped us, and I was trying to justify it. I was like, why would she do that? She's got to have a good reason. That's why she doesn't kill Mono now. Oh. Shoot, no, yeah, sorry, I jumped ahead. Shadow Knight, you're absolutely right. She doesn't know Thin Man yet. Yeah, you're right, absolutely. So me standing here showing her my face, and just sort of like, yo, what's up? And she's like, yeah, what's up? Because she hasn't seen Thin Man yet. Yeah, you're absolutely right. My theory is very thought through. Is it now? Okay, let me see. I believe 6 did care about Mono at first, but after being taken away she believed she was safe, and she's naive and doesn't know the danger. Even though Mono, wait for it, saved her, she was angry and left him behind. Yeah, maybe she could have been mad at him. Because we've got to bear in mind as well that although these characters seem very mature because they're controlled by us and we portray our own emotions and our own feelings through these wordless characters, we also forget that they're like 9. 6 is 9. She's 9 years old. And Mono is probably 10. You know, he could even be 9. I'm not sure. I don't know if it specifies. But yeah, you know, so she could it could just be a fact of he upset her. So she reacted. You know, she's just like, screw you then. You know, she reacted like a pouty 9-year-old. She's not really fussed about, you know, the everlasting friendship or a potential relationship or a long-term security measure. She's literally just like, you broke my music box. Go to hell. You know, she's reacting like a child because she is. She's 9. I know it's easy for us to think that she's way older because we're way older and we portray our feelings and our actions through these characters subconsciously. So it's easy for us to think that they're way older than they are. But she's 9 years old. She could just not like him anymore because he upset her. Do you think there is going to be a demo? Yes, absolutely. And I predict it coming out in June. I think the game will come out in June. So if we get a demo, it'll be a month before. So May. I think in May we'll get a demo, but I can't be sure. I don't know anything. I don't work for Bandai. I think in every video, in every Little Nightmares video I've ever released, theory-wise at least, somebody in the comments has speculated that I work for Bandai or Supermassive or Tarsier. I don't. I did apply, but no. They were looking for somebody a bit more advanced than I am. It's Just Jord inspired me as well, and if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be so invested in theorising about Little Night. Glitch Ghosts, yeah, exactly. This is what I'm talking about, is Just Jord, he has that impact on people. It's like, I really, really love Just Jord's work, and I have done for a long time, and I feel like basically anybody who theorises about Little Nightmares, no matter how big they are, they've all took some inspiration from Jord. Even the bigger ones like Super Horror Bro Mike. Super Horror Bro is a legendary YouTuber. Over 2 million subscribers, a fantastic theorist, an amazing content creator, and a legend in his own right. But I think even he has been inspired by Jord with some of the theories, because I've looked at some of the concepts come up between the two of them, and they're very, very similar. But Jord did it first, so I'm not sure. But yeah, it could very well be that they came to the same conclusion. I've done it before. I've mentioned stuff to Jord myself, where I've been like, "Hey, have you ever noticed this?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, shoot, so if I go into a video and I spout this stuff, I tend to check with Jord first. So before addressing a theory that I feel particularly strongly about, I'll approach Jord and say, look, have you had any considerations around this? Because I don't want to look like I'm stealing your content. But, I feel like I thought of this. What do you think? And most of the time, Jord does not care. Jord's just like, whatever. If you've got a theory, just make a video. I don't care. I don't feel like you're stepping on my toes. I don't feel like you're stealing my content. Just go ahead and do you. And he's awesome like that. But I still like to check with him just in case, because I'd hate for people to pop up in my comments and say, you stole this from Jord. And I'm like, no. I promise I didn't, or at least I didn't want to. I never intend to steal it. I really do like to think that all of the stuff is, like, all of this content is my own. It's purely inspired by Jord, which is why I make a point of shouting him out in every single video. Because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't make it. But the content is, the style of content, the fundamentals, that's all Jord. And I took that straight away, which is why I'll give him a shout out in every single video and address that fact. But the content of the fundamentals, so the content of the theories, that's all me. And a little bit you, because sometimes you guys inspire me to think about stuff. Eyes do not grow with us. They remain the same since birth. So Mono would have the same eyes as Thin Man. Yeah, I thought that. I've learned that since. Nightmare! Oh my god, I'm here. Just sprinted up a mile-long hill to be here. I'm so out of breath. Well, catch your breath. Breathe in. Breathe out. And I'm proud of you for sprinting. I'm really glad to see you. I'm happy you're here. Theorize with us. Gemini. Little Nightmares is just great. It's still so weird to see how unpopular, weird, sad and creepy game in 2017 grew up to be a new universe and more a feeling than a game. Couldn't agree more, Kai. Couldn't agree more. I like Little Nightmares 1. The initial Little Nightmares 1 struck a chord with me that I couldn't believe. So it was even harder for me to believe that it was an indie title with such a small studio behind it. Because it blew my mind. It was phenomenal. And Little Nightmares 2 went on to expand on that in 100 different ways, and now it is what it is now, where there's literally like 20 of us having a full-blown online conversation worldwide. Like, you guys are from all over the world, and we're having this open discussion about what this world entails. It's excellently done. They've come so far. Acting like a child, and she says, go to hell. I can imagine it. My brother's told me to go to hell. I've told my brother to go to hell, and that was all when we were a lot younger than we are now. In fact, my brother stabbed me when I was a kid. So he was about 5. Do you think that Six remembers Mono in Little Nightmares 1? Yeah, I do. Yes, I do. Well, I think it'd stand to reason that she does, but also I wish, because I know that these games came, like, it wasn't chronological, so there may be some confusion here, but I think what they should have done, if they knew that Thin Man was going to be the enemy, he was going to be Mono, and he was going to, like, eventually be written off and dropped into the tower and so on, I think that it would have been a really good, like, minor cutscene if Six drops into the room with the hanging man and freezes. She just pauses for a second to take in his appearance, because it's so similar to Thin Man that, maybe she'd be a bit perturbed. But instead she just walks straight up, takes his chair, and, like, and dollies off into the distance. She's like, thanks, bro, bye. But yeah, I feel like if it was, like, canon to the story, and again, I appreciate that it wasn't thought out back then. This wasn't planned, or at least I don't think it was, because I think if it was, they would have had her interact in some way or react to the hanging man, at least more than just pulling out his chair. Runaway Cobra, what's up? Sorry guys, I'm missing a lot of comments. Shadow Knight's gotta go. Alright guys, gotta go study for an upcoming test and head out. Yep, no problem. You go study, you do your thing. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here, Shadow Knight. Thanks for stopping by. Bandai should hire both me and Jord. Well, they did hire Jord. Yes, Jord wrote Sounds of Nightmares episode 5. Like, Jord got the job. And he deserves it. He absolutely deserves it. Because he did a fantastic job. You guys that have listened to Sounds of Nightmares, particularly episode 5 that Jord wrote, you'd know. The Gemini X Jord Little Nightmares playthrough with Gold Soulbite. Yeah, I mean, I would love to play Little Nightmares 3 with Jord at some point, you know, because obviously he's going to play it alone on his channel, I'm going to play it alone on my channel, and potentially we could play it together in the future, but I feel like I am nowhere near the calibre of character that Jord would be collaborating with. I think Jord's more likely to play with Super Horror Bro Mike, because not only are they like much bigger YouTubers than I am, and much more like intrinsically linked with the franchise, but also both Jord and Super Horror Bro Mike have worked for Bandai, or at least worked on the Sounds of Nightmares. They both wrote an episode each, so I feel like if there's going to be a collab, it'll be them two, more than me. Don't get me wrong, I'd love it. It would be amazing, and maybe in the very far future, but I don't see it happening anytime soon. But thank you, Solamax. I do appreciate that. It would be dope. I'd love it. In fact, if you guys want to tell Jord you think it's a good idea, then by all means do. I don't want to reach out to him and be like, "Hey, Jord, come play with me," because he'll just be like, "Dude, go away." He won't. He absolutely wouldn't be like that, but I also don't want to waste his time. He's a busy man. Super Horror Bro and Jord's game Glitched Out looks really promising. Yes, it does, and I can't wait to play. It's already in my wish list, and it should be in yours as well. So if you haven't wishlisted Glitched Out yet, please do. Because it would definitely help to support Jord and Super Horror Bro Mike, both of which are phenomenal creators in themselves. I think Six is just scared child doing everything it takes to survive, and I hate it when people call Six evil because... Yeah, I don't think she's evil, although she does come across like that, but like, what would we do in her situation? And I'm telling you now, I would eat people. And I think a lot of you guys would too. Yes, good luck on your test. Faceless Art and Skills, hey, what's up? It's great to see you. Welcome to the stream. For those of you guys that are just tuning in, I'm not really playing the game. It's just sort of here in the background for when chat goes quiet. The idea of today's stream is to communicate with you guys and actually try and read the comments rather than play the game too much. So I am going to be... I am going to be playing the game, but very, very slowly. And just sort of chilling and talking to you guys because I want to talk to you, hear your theories, speculate with you, because the idea is you all leave me so many wonderful comments and amazing theories and thoughts and speculations and stuff that I want to address, but just don't have the time to do at the end of a video. So when I make a theory video, I can pick like 3 comments that I've got time to read and address. So I try and make them really good ones. But that doesn't change the fact that out of those 3 comments that I choose are out of potentially 100 others. Like, most of my videos get between 80 and 100 comments, and they're all things like speculations, thoughts, theories, and potential like future plans for Little Nightmares, and questions for me, which I would love to answer. So the idea is I can read them here in real time, and you don't have to worry about, because I get so many notifications on YouTube as well. After I release a video, I put it down. I put the phone down, I put the computer down, and I go to the gym. Like, you know, I go work out, I make some food, I go for a walk, I chill, I watch a movie, I go to bed, you know. I don't listen to it because it just goes ding, 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 like comment, like, sub, which is wonderful. It's amazing, and I'm not unhappy about it by any stretch. But it's also my excuse for not communicating with you guys potentially as well as I should. So please don't think you're being ignored. It's just that I can't keep up. I'm just one dude. I honestly think that 6 could possibly be noon. Yes, probably. I do think so. 6 is either noon. In my headcanon, 6 is either noon, or noon is either 6 or Raincoat Girl from Very Little Nightmares. Do you think the eyes in the signal tower is what the eye symbols are everywhere? Yes, I do. I absolutely do. And I feel like the eye symbols are everywhere because the people of the nowhere worship them. I think it's a symbol, like, you know how people, like, for instance, in Christianity, Jesus was nailed to the cross. So religious folks from Christianity and several sects of Christianity, they worship the cross. Well, this particular creature obviously runs the nowhere, so they will see it as some kind of god or deity or controlling entity. So they will worship the eye symbol that it's represented by, I think. Oh my god, speaking of tests and stuff, I remember when I did a descriptive paragraph based off a BFG image, and it just reminded me of Roger. I was writing away and my teacher said, why don't you do this every time? Yeah, I know. This is the thing. If you're able to link your work to something you love, it will be amazing. Because you find a passion for it that you didn't have before. In fact, it goes back to what I said earlier about me taking history and regretting it because I sucked at history, because I couldn't care less about politics or the Third Reich or anything like that. I took history because I wanted to learn about tanks and war and weapons and soldiers. And one day they give us a paper to write, and it was on tanks and the types of tanks the Germans use and the type of tanks the Allied forces use. And I got an A plus. And my teacher approached me and she was like, there's no way you did this. I'm like, yes, I did. And she was like, but it's amazing. It's really good. Why don't you do this every time? Like, because I don't care about anything else you're teaching me. I'm not really interested in the history. I just like tanks. You know, like, if they asked me to write a paper on Little Nightmares, I'd A grade it. You know, I'd teach them something. I honestly think you would do a lot of things Six did if I was in her awful situation. I feel really bad for her. I agree, Sushiku. I agree. I would straight up eat people. I'd eat anything. President of Evil. He has entered the building. Your president has arrived. Love me some theories being swirled around. Absolutely, Prez. Absolutely, sir. And it's great to see you in the chat. I'm really happy that you can make it and stop in and say hello. Like, mingle amongst us commoners. It's great to see you. President of Evil is actually a YouTube channel, and it's going to be releasing some Resident Evil-based content in the near future. And I am going to be heavily influencing some of that work, because me and the president himself are going to be working in cahoots. But I'm sure I'll let you guys know all about that when it comes up. Honestly, you wouldn't go insane. Yeah, true, Faceless. Absolutely true. Like, in fact, it's pretty evident in the people in the nowhere. Like, the closest thing to sane we get is probably the hunter, because he's just going about his life, isn't he? He lives like a normal person out in the woods, and yeah, he catches and eats children, apparently. Excuse me. Apparently that's what he does. You know, his taxidermy, and he's catching people in the cages and stuff. But to be fair, he's probably just protecting his land. You know, he's staying as far away from the signal as he possibly can. He lives on the outskirts of nowhere. He threw his TV into the garden, you know, destroyed it. And he's just living his best life. But when people come here to his house, he shoots them. I'd do the same thing. If somebody paraded into my kitchen right now and started raiding my fridge, I'd shoot them too. Somebody needs to make a mod where one janitor spawns every minute in Little Nightmares. That'd be terrifying. It'd be impossible, wouldn't it? God, can you imagine? It'd crash the game eventually, wouldn't it? Because it'll take you about an hour to complete Little Nightmares 1. So you'll end up with 60 janitors throughout the game. Imagine the janitors spawning in, like, say you're hiding under the chef's bed, and then Roger just spawns in the room and reaches under and takes you. Did you see my comment on your talisman theory about Law being one of the black children from the Little Nightmares? Oh, I didn't, but actually... Oh, wait, yes I did. Yes I did. But not in this stream I didn't, but I've seen it. I've read it before. Because I was going to address that, actually, because I found a couple of concept arts for the children in the comics, and I noticed that one of them was a black kid, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if that could be Law, or linked to him in somewhere. And it's probably, like, unintentionally racist of me to assume that the only other black kid in is Law. But... potentially, yeah, because we haven't seen him without his mask, so we're not sure. But he absolutely could be. Definitely could be. Maybe you already know, but I'm making a game, Little Nightmares inspired, and I didn't know how hard game development was, so a big shout out to Tazi. Exactly. Kai, this is what I was talking about earlier, about when I said this is probably why they have such, you know, amazing characters that don't make it into the games, like the barber, the wax bellman, the lunch lady, because it's hard, as you are very aware. Being a game developer yourself, you understand how difficult it is. So when they scrap these characters and we wonder, oh, why didn't we get that? It would have been so cool. But it's like, imagine the amount of effort that would have gone in to creating that really small portion of the game. And it's, you've got to weigh up, like, the relevance of that character and their story and, like, their input on the overall storyline of the game versus the amount of work involved. Like, you would have to put the game back by months to fit this character in and flush them out and make it good. And even then, it might not be worth it. So, potentially. The granny is dead, but if Little Nightmares 3 is before Little... Oh, God, don't. I really don't want to see the granny again. That's true, I'm good at drawing, but recently I've been making a whole recreation of Inscription. Oh, dude, with hand... Bro, that would be amazing. Chaos, that would be awesome. I always wanted one of those. I actually shouted that out because I played Inscription and I had to play with my voice changer and everything like that, and I made a series on it. And I said, if anybody makes an Inscription game, let me know. You know, the cards, let me know. Because I will absolutely buy that from you. I think that's awesome. And if you do make that, please, like if you haven't got a YouTube channel already, put it up on there and let people see. Because that will be astonishing, especially if you're an artist. Well, and Evans says, do you think the lady is 6 from the future, just as a thin man? Maybe, but I'm not sure she's the lady. Because after she eats the lady and she gains her powers, I think maybe she replaces the lady, but I don't think she is the lady. I can't be sure. And again, it's a huge theory that's been speculated on for years and years, but I do not know. I am not certain on that one, my man. Pretty cool back to back. Yeah, I'm not sure either. Zushiku. Okay, this is very hard. I fiddle with coding. Yeah, Zushiku coding is difficult as well. I've dabbled in coding myself a little bit, and yeah, it is difficult. It's got to be something that you have to be able to dedicate some time to. Another thing that Jord is great at, like, because Jord is making a Little Nightmares based game, as well as the glitched out game that him and Super Horror Bro have made. But yeah, Jord is actually working on a Little Nightmares themed fan game as well. Thinking about this. Since the nowhere sometimes represents the kid's trauma, what does mono mean? Such as the wilderness, bordering school. Well, mono. Okay, so monophobia is the fear of being isolated, of being alone. Mono, it means one, single, like a singular being. So mono could be contrasted with monophobia. You'll also notice that mono's color palette is monochromatic. So yeah, it sort of ties into that. His fear could be hinted at in his name. Mono could be a hint at monophobia, because right at the end of the game, obviously, as we all know, spoiler alert, he's left alone forever. You know, and he's left alone for so long that he grows into the Thin Man. And that's obviously the scariest thing that happens to him, potentially. So yeah. Gemini, what's your favourite Little Nightmares game? This one, Little Nightmares 2. Is my favourite. I love them all, and I think they all have a special place in my heart, but if I had to pick one to play, it would be Little Nightmares 2, the Enhanced Edition. This is my favourite so far, pending how good Little Nightmares 3 is. Because I didn't think Little Nightmares 2 would be as good as Little Nightmares 1. I was wrong. If Little Nightmares 3 has a T-Rex Roger, it would be the funniest boss and my favourite cop. Yeah, imagine him with thin, little stubby arms. It wouldn't actually be so intimidating. Glunk Inc. Hello and welcome to the stream. It's great to see you. And I think you've got Loan Alone in your profile picture, which is awesome. So hello and welcome. If you had to remove a monster from Little Nightmares 1 or Little Nightmares 2, which one would it be? They would be replaced by a different location and monster. Little Nightmares 1, I would remove... Oh, this is tough. But, you know what? This is blasphemy. But in Little Nightmares 1, the enemy that frightened me the least was the lady. And I know she's terrifying. Like, I get it. She's spooky. She's ethereal. She travels through walls. You're never safe from the lady. She's an awesome character, and I absolutely love her. But she just didn't hit quite as hard as the others for me. Like the janitor, the chefs, and the granny. Even the guests. I feel like the guests, like, it'd probably be the granny or the guests, because the guests didn't really frighten me so much. Yeah, in fact, I'll say the guests, because the lady definitely frightened me more than the guests. And I tend to base a horror or, like, cat and mouse style horror game like this on how afraid I am of the characters. So if I had to remove one, it would be the lady. And from Little Nightmares 2, again, it'd probably be the Thin Man. But it's not because I want to remove him from the game, because I feel like he's a very important part of it. But out of all of the bosses, again, he scared me the least. He's frightening, don't get me wrong, but I think he's just too human. You know, there's a bit too much humanity in Thin Man, the same as there was a bit too much humanity in the lady, whereas the rest of them all have something just off about them, like way off. But yeah, very tough decision. Very tough decision. I died like 40 times to them, very frustrating indeed. The DLCs are hard, yeah. I mean, I smashed the DLCs now, but when I first tried, I just kept on getting drowned by the granny. I tell you what, no, it was the Shadow Kids that ruined me. Like, the Shadow Kids were the hardest part of the DLC. Imagine a Little Nightmares mod where every Little Nightmares 2 enemy was put into the Little Nightmares. I love that. In fact, I've seen a mod that I was going to download, but I don't like modding too much because it messes with my computer a little bit. But I've seen a really cool mod where you can switch out Mono for Runaway Kid. Or you can switch Mono in Six's places, so Mono drops 6. So you kind of get revenge. I, in fact, used some of that footage in one of my Would You Rathers. Speaking of which, I put together a few Would You Rathers, especially for you guys. There's 5 of them that I made, and they are unseen. Like, they've never been seen before. I made them today. And if you guys are interested, I can show you those right now, because I've got them fired up on my little console here. So if it's something that you would be interested in seeing and debating on and having a conversation about, let me know, because I don't want to do it now while there's like so many people talking, and I don't want to miss anything anyone has to say. But yeah, please let me know if you would be interested in seeing some of the Would You Rathers I made, because I prepared 5 special ones for you guys today. Why do I keep clicking? Gemini, do you think that the side-scroller 2D effect is just an effect, or would it be more? Oh, it definitely is, because if you go into 3D, like if you play Little Nightmares 1 or 2 in first person, it's like a dollhouse. So everything that you see in the 2D or 2.5D, all is there. But if you turn to the right, it's just empty space. So it's like it's just out there. I don't doubt that it would be awesome as an open world. But if you play it in first person, it's not open world at all. It feels 3D, but you're still limited to how far you can go, because if you turn to the right, there is just nothing there. It's just abyss. Post mine in the inscription and Reddit. Yeah, please do, because I would like to see that inscription real life concept. It would be cool. Concept art is the easiest. I don't call myself a very good artist, but I'd love to do something like that. Yeah, I'm not a great artist, but, you know, I'm trying to... My art book is down under the sofa over there, but, I've made a couple of sketches and stuff like that. Nothing I've been prepared to share with you guys, because it's like, it's garbage. But I think they're good, but, you know, I don't think anyone else will. Love your channel, bro. Keep it up. Thank you, Jay Dix. I appreciate that. Very, very kind of you to say. Found our lady terrifying, especially in DLC. They do a great job making her frightening without... Yeah. Now that's why I'm really like... That's why I don't necessarily want to take the lady out, because even though she didn't frighten me that much, I feel like she did something that the others didn't. I think it kind of made her special in a way. Very impressive. Are you worried for Little Nightmares 3 with the warm colour palette for the Necropolis? Me personally, I think a new environment would be good for the game. Solomax, yes, I am. But... Well, at least I was, because when I was initially greeted with the bright orange and yellow warm colour palette for Little Nightmares 3 and the Necropolis, I thought, oh no, they've changed it. But I feel like if you look at the rest of the game, like the carnival and the sewers and everything, it's got more of like a bluey-green kind of concept to it. I feel like having that yellow-orange colour palette fits the Necropolis and the desert environment very, very well. I don't feel like it's going to ruin the game, but it was quite jarring. So it was a little bit like, oh, this is perturbing, you know, it's really strange. But I felt the same way when I fired up Little Nightmares 2 for the first time, and Mono woke up in the woods. And I'm like, wait, we're outside. Because we'd never really seen outside, other than climbing up the side of the moor. So I was like, oh no, this might be weird. You know, what if they ruin it by taking it outside? Because you lose some of that claustrophobia that you got from the moor. But they seem to double down on everything else. It was brilliant. In fact, you still feel claustrophobic as hell, even when you're out in the woods. So, no, I'm not worried. It was jarring at first, I'll admit. It did perturb me. But it hasn't deterred me. I am definitely still going to play the game, and I'm sure I'm going to love it. Imagine a Little Nightmares animated TV show. Yes, it would, and I'm sure that's in the works. I'm pretty sure that that's going to be something that they're working on. I actually think they're working on it now, which I feel like that's something that could potentially be revealed this year. At least revealed that they're working on it. Anyway. Oh no, my light died. I had a nice purple light behind me and it's died off now. Love to see you soon. Little Nightmares franchise has been living in my brain rent free, likewise. Shadow Kids are the only character I hate. I hate them. I love them, but I hate them as well. And the bullies. I find the game so easy for my autism to process and I love it. The Shadow Kids are the only stress I have. Yeah, because it's kind of like cathartic, isn't it? You play the game and it's just like, you're just having fun. You know, you're just sort of like chilling. You know what's expected of you. You know what to do. And you're just kind of like plodding along and doing your thing. He says, I can't even get out of here. How do I open this door? I think I might have killed the game, by the way, guys. I think having it on pause for so long has sort of glitched the game. Either that or I didn't pick up the key. Let me just go check I picked up the key. Do you think we will get to see how the Maw guests get fat before the Maw? Oh, maybe. Maybe, because there's the guys at the funfair thing, they're fat as well, aren't they? Yeah, I forgot the key, that's why. Back after having dinner. Hello, Ghoul Games. How was your dinner? Did you enjoy yourself? I wonder how... I wonder if we will get a Crying Candy Boy DLC. I hope so. In fact, that was the one I wanted the most out of any. Dave Cyrus says, My Size. Remix. Mana Mana My Size. Man dem on the wall. Boosha. Do you think the shoe monster will return, but in the sand? You know what? Yes. Well, actually, I don't know, because I thought we would. I thought we'd get to see a sand monster, like a sandworm kind of monster. But it's actually quicksand that I saw in the gameplay trailer. When Jord was watching the gameplay trailer, Lorne alone walk through, like they have to wade through quicksand and they slowly sink, but nothing seemed to be chasing them. But it did cut out at that point as well. So there could be something in there that we just haven't seen yet. Something very different, but would you do a room tour on YouTube? Just a question. Well, I would, but this is it. I mean, you can see it. I mean, the other side is a lot. There's a lot more to see because I've got lights and neons and all sorts of other stuff like kicking around. So I got my big ring light. It's an awesome room, and potentially, yeah, I would, if enough people were interested in seeing my room and my recording studio, then yeah, I would be happy to give you guys a little tour. But it wouldn't be a very long one because again, the room isn't very big. But I could go through some of the stuff, like I could go through my PC and all that, you know, my PC, my controllers, because all of the equipment I've got is state-of-the-art. It's awesome. So I think some of you guys, especially the tech geeks among you, you would appreciate it. L333 is my favourite tank. It's so cute. Yeah, I know. It's a little dinger tank. Little, I call them pea shooters. But yeah, I quite like Panzers myself. I know, blasphemy, but Panzers were hardcore. A KFC, rah! Man, I'd smash a bargain bucket right now, you know. You know. I find it so funny looking back on when I first played 2 Little Nightmares games. I got so scared at some dumb parts, and now those parts are literal seconds of zero effort to get through. Yeah, same. Like, when I play the teacher now, she still frightens me. But when I watch my first playthrough with the teacher, I literally wanted to cry. She just put, she put chills up me like nothing else. Worst bug I got was in the hospital where you burn the toys. Went in the elevator, accidentally left 6 alone and got stuck. Had to restart a chapter. That sucks. She went up without me. I've done that before, but in the Pale City, in the elevator in the Pale City, I ended up crushing 6 accidentally because she glitched out and got stuck on top of it and I squashed her. These hooks in the cabin look awfully similar to the hooks in Roger's area. Yes, they do, actually. I wonder if it's a reused asset. What's your favourite chapter in Little Nightmares 1 and 2? Favourite chapter in Little Nightmares 2 is the school. Always will be, I think, because it's just amazing. Little Nightmares 1 is probably the kitchens. Because the chefs are awesome, and I think that that's the first time you ever experience real, a sense of realism. You know, the chefs have to sleep. You know, they sleep, they eat, they smoke. You see them do all of this stuff, so they're almost humanized. They're so uncanny. It's surreal. And it just they're hyper uncomfortable, aren't they? You know, they're awkward. So the kitchens really sells Little Nightmares to me, especially considering the idea that you're seeing you're seeing the background. You know, you're seeing the shady underbelly of the mall, because the mall is pictured as this beautiful place with like meals and food and decorations, and you know the guests' dining area is very clean, technically speaking. You know, it's like it's well looked after and preserved. There's pictures on the walls, nothing's decaying, nothing's falling apart. You know, the ugliest thing in that area is the guests themselves. But the kitchens are vile. So it's like you're seeing the shady underbelly of the mall, and I love it. Mm-hmm. Had the same thoughts as you with the worry of the necropolis, but it might be relevant to the two chapters story. Yeah, I agree that it's relevant. You know, I feel like if they were to just stick with the same theme all the way through, while it would be familiar, it might not do the game justice, because the new game obviously wants to experience some change. If they keep repeating the same thing, people will get tired. People will complain. I know that we love it. We love it as it is, but the truth is that Little Nightmares, even Little Nightmares 2, introduced a lot of concepts that we, as fans of Little Nightmares 1, were not particularly enthusiastic about. But they all work, and they all work exceedingly well. Also, I'm changing my hat. I'm going to put my paper bag back on, because he is our little paper bag boy. Ooh, that tearing sound. Awesome sauce. Awesome sauce. Also, guys, if you haven't already smashed that like button for me, please do. And please share the stream with anybody you think it might be relevant to. Because although I am going to be live for a little bit longer, I would like to talk to everybody who would like to talk to me. And I'd hate for anybody to miss an opportunity to do so. Because, like I say, I'm limited to how many comments I can respond to. And I don't want you to feel ignored. Because I promise you're not being. It's just impossible for me to make a video where I address every single comment, whereas if I do it live like this, it's a lot easier to keep up with you guys and to talk to a lot of you. What else are we saying? Playful Dreams. It's mainly art and story writing. It's a mix of my own OCs and characters, but I added my own Little Nightmares characters. Oh, I love that. I'd like to see that. That'd be really cool. I love looking at concept art. In fact, one of the main things I like to draw is my own OC. So I've got an original character concept, but because I'm not a great artist, I'm actually going to employ an artist to draw it for me. I'm thinking of making like a mini comic, which will be based in the Norway, in the Little Nightmares universe, but it will contain my own OC, so you guys will be able to like see and read about it. It's more for me. It's not going to be anything I publish or sell. It's literally just something that I'd like to do, and I wonder if I could create. And I think with the right team behind me, I could make that a possibility. So I'd like to do that. My two characters are named Liam and Devyat, which is 9 in Russian. I like that. That's cool. Favorite chapter? Yes. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you hand me the menu and just say, what do you want? Yes. It is nice. John made a video reassuring everyone about Little Nightmares 3. I'd recommend if anyone is worried about it. Likewise, yeah, I actually watched that video and Jord hit the nail on the head. In fact, I will quote Jord right now. Jord said that they are here to continue the story of Little Nightmares, not rewrite it. Because anxiety breeds anxiety. Change breeds anxiety. And it's true. I don't like change. Jord doesn't like change. And it is nerve-wracking for us as fans, as content creators and as like enthusiasts of the Little Nightmares universe, but it's even more nerve-wracking for the creators, particularly Supermassive, who had a hand in this enhanced edition and did a phenomenal job of. Jord reassured us that they know what they're doing and they have been given the lore Bible with regards to Little Nightmares, so they're not going to change too much. And I think the changes that they do include will be welcome, like the colour palette, for instance, because if you were to like have If you kept the necropolis as it is, but just made it nighttime so it could be blue and like this, all it'd be changing is the colour palette, you know, and it might look a bit more Little Nightmares-y, but it wouldn't hit the same. You know, having the idea of like hot sun beating down and the wind blaring and everyone being turned to stone and dust, it doesn't really work at night, but it works phenomenal during the day. So I do feel like we should give it a chance. We should approach it with an open mind. Thank you for the support, Gemini. You made my day. Hey, you are more than welcome. Absolutely no problem at all. Just a question. Do you know what the letter type font of Little Nightmares is and don't look at Google. Yeah, it's called Amatic, or Amatic SC. Faceless art and skills, nice. And learning Russian. Russian, God, that's hard. I don't know any Russian. I know Blyat. I know very, very little Russian. Gemini, what are your predictions for the ending of Little Nightmares 3? Predictions. Interesting. I'm glad you asked. But please forgive me if this goes on for a while. Okay, I'm going to try and break it down real quick. I think that Law has the ability to move through the mirrors safely because he's witnessed doing it. We see him do it all the time. We've seen him do it 4 times already in the gameplay trailer and in the what was it? You know, the first like 18 minutes of gameplay. We see him do it a lot anyway. He always moves through fine, but Alone doesn't. Alone breaks the mirror when she comes through with him. So I don't think she can do it. I think that the reason Law can do it is because he possesses something that allows him to do so safely, without being like attacked by the mirror monster, or cornered by it, or subject to its shadowy tendrils. I think Law's anklet, I've actually got a bracelet, which is basically the same thing, but I theorized, and I still think this is true, that this is a talisman that was given to Law potentially by the ferryman to keep him safe, which is why he can safely transmute between the mirrors from one place to another. But Alone can't do that. And I think that right at the end of the game, I've got I've got 2 theories about it. The first one is, and listen carefully, I think Law is going to die at some point, potentially early on. I think Law is going to die. But we're not going to know he's going to die, because he'll be immediately replaced by the ferryman, because the ferryman can take the form of other children, and he is going to guide Alone through the journey, and then right at the end of the game be revealed as the ferryman, and then we'll learn right at the end of the game that Law actually died but was replaced by the ferryman, much like the comics, where the North Wind is pursuing a little boy and his sister, and it turns out that the sister has been dead all along, but the ferryman took the place of the sister to guide the boy to safety. I think that could be a way that they introduce the ferryman in this game. I think that it could be Law, and that's why she's called Alone, because Law died and she was left alone, and she's alone for the whole time, and that's why she's called Alone. And I think maybe that's how it ties in. The other theory is that if this bangle, this amulet, or whatever it is that gives Law the ability to move through the mirrors, I think that eventually we're going to get cornered by whatever the eldritch entity is that controls the mirrors. I think that we're going to be in a situation where we have no choice but to either save ourselves or save Alone. So he's going to pull off the bangle, give it to Alone. She's going to travel through the mirrors, and she'll be able to pass through safely, but she'll have to leave Law behind, therefore leaving her alone. What do you guys think? Abyss, hey, you made it. Welcome back. I would love to see Very Little Nightmares in the style of the other games. So would I. I think that would be an excellent remake, and that's a brilliant idea. In a producer interview, there was a question that asked, will all 3 makers cry? And she said they don't know. I think they will. It absolutely will. Oh, damn, I can't read that. I only know little. Ah, I see. Right, thank you for translating, because I could not read your Russian. Go Games in a regular Little Nightmares fashion. Yes, exactly. Yeah, they're definitely going to break our hearts. Be sure of that. By the way, I loved your talisman theory so much. I thought it was such a... Oh, thank you. That's very kind of you to say. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it when people give me props for these theories, because they are hard. Like, they're hard to do. It's difficult to conceptualize. It's tough to tell the story and do the research. And you have to be sure. Like, you've got to know what you're talking about as well. Like, these concepts that I'm using during my theory videos, I have to absolutely be certain of them. To a point where if I can, and I often do, when I come up with a theory, sometimes I'll have a bunch of notes in my notebook like this, and I'll go through it, and I'll end up like doing my research and eventually debunking what I'm saying. And I'll have to scrap the theory because I'm like, oh, well, it doesn't make sense now because I proved myself wrong. And I get frustrated and have to wait a day to cool down. Change is always worrying. I remember being so worried before 2023 F1 season when McLaren got a new team principal and they had their best season. Exactly, yeah, exactly. That says it all. Alex the Frog says that would be a crazy reveal. Yeah, I agree. I think it'd be cool. My friend literally told me that a theory a day ago. That's so crazy. The ferryman theory. Ah, cool. Yeah, see, again, it's something that I won't be the only person that considered this because I'm not the only person that's read the comics. Jord, in fact, will have definitely considered this at some point or another. If Lord dies, I'm a bee for my minion. I call her that because she looks a bit like a minion with the goggles. Yeah, she does actually, yeah. Hello! Hey, Mixed Giraffe, you made it! What is up? I'm really glad you're here. Good morning. Little Nightmares clothing brand. Yeah, I actually looked for some. Because you can get Little Nightmares branded merchandise. But I like to get the official stuff, and it is few and far between. And it's expensive as hell, and I'm broke. Yo, that's crazy. Kind of wish that's what happens. Great theory. Thank you, Jadix. I appreciate it. Man, I came back here to the idea of characters dying. I know, Abyss. And I'm not even playing the game necessarily, so you can't shout out the OST as much as you'd like to. So I do apologise for that. I also apologise if some of you guys actually want to see me play the game, and I'm just not. But that's the whole idea of today's stream is to theorize with you guys. It's not to play the game. The game is just there as like a background noise to keep us thinking. For if the chat goes quiet, because I half expected it to be a quiet stream because I know that as soon as I put out the community post saying, by the way, I'm going live, I got like 20 messages saying, oh, I won't be there. Like, because people live around the world, they have school, they live in different time zones, and they have work and other projects and stuff like that they're working on. So I get that not everybody can be here, and that's totally cool, and I was expecting it to be a little bit quieter. That's why I've got the game fired up here instead of just having my face on big screen and theorising with you guys. But the idea of the stream is 99% to theorise with you guys, talk to you, hear what you have to say, because obviously you guys are leaving me hundreds and hundreds of amazing comments that I just don't have the time to respond to, because I like responding to them in videos and actually thinking about it in person. And that's impossible to do when the videos are limited to how much time. I don't want people sitting there for like 2 or 3 hours waiting for me to read their comment. So at least this way, I can address all of your thoughts, theories, speculations, and questions live. So if you have anything that you would like to ask me, say to me, speculate on, theorise about, please do. Do it now, because there's a good chance I'll read it. Six says, sorry I'm late. Don't even worry. You keep missing the lives. That's absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. Every piece of Little Nightmares content is unique and memorable. Couldn't agree more. Glitch Ghost. Law reminds me of the Stitch Punks from 9. Not familiar with those. I'll have to look that up. Personally don't like my art style, but I want to animate in the podcast and make a tween style videos. I would love. Don't know if it'd get copyright. It probably wouldn't. It probably wouldn't, as long as it's just different enough. I actually know, but well, I don't know them personally, but I've seen a bunch of people who make Little Nightmares based animations online, and they make money out of it because it's based on Little Nightmares. Popped in earlier, and you could possibly hear attic ghosts, which is hard to hear, but it's the attic ambience. Attic ambience. 6 hi. Hey Abyss. Nice that you weren't here before. You most likely did, 6, because Abyss shows up to most of my live streams. In fact, a lot of you guys I'm familiar with by now. I translated law and found out in European it means, do you think that could you mean something? It means call. Interesting. Yes, it could mean something. There could definitely be something in that. That's worth considering. Eplemanum says, if the nowhere... I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, by the way. If the nowhere is in a child's dream, do the chefs and guests dream of being in the counties? Maybe, because they do sleep. So it's like they potentially could. Nightmare. Ooh, Gem. Devante Knight says, ill. It is nice. That's a really interesting theory. My theory is similar to yours, is that Law will sacrifice himself for Alone, the game ending in her escaping the nowhere and getting back to the real world. Yeah, maybe. We might even get to see the counties for the first time. European. That's a continent. Do you mean English? Yeah, maybe, actually. Yeah, you're actually right. Europe is a continent. Yeah. I can elaborate on that theory, I think. Yeah, please do, Alex. Please go ahead with that. I'd love to read it. Abyss, I know you too. Yes. GJK Go IX. Hi. I'm sorry. I read your name really wrong there, but I'm rushing because I don't want to miss anyone. Hi, I'm new here. What is it we do here? So basically, the game is just there for background noise. I'm barely playing it. The idea is to I get hundreds of comments on my videos, which is lovely, and you guys theorize and speculate and ask me questions, but I'm only able to answer so many of them because I address them in videos, so I'll pick 3, but it's like 3 out of 100, and I don't want you guys to feel ignored and feel like your theories and speculations are invalid. So if you have any thoughts, theories, speculations, questions you want to ask me, or just things you want to say, this is your opportunity to say them while I'm here live, and I will try my best to read them and address them in kind. Okay, I need to go get ready for class. No worries, you do that. Like, education comes first. If any of you guys are supposed to be in school or education of some description or work, please do that rather than coming and listening to my ass speak, because all I'm going to do is waste your time. And you can always come back and rewatch the stream a little bit later on if you so desire. But do not put this stream before your education, please. Anyone who's seen my content, I swear I'm not just making up to tell you other things, it's just a phase. It's fine, you make whatever you want. It's your channel. Faceless says, I actually drew a few pieces, art pieces based on the Sounds of Nightmares podcast theme song because I listened to it in my sleep and holy moly, it was so crazy. I felt like it was actually... Oh, that would be awesome. I'd really like to see that, actually. I saw somebody's concept art of Otto, and I used them in some of my theory videos, and I seen somebody did a wonderful concept art of Noon, and it was just like a silhouette of her on a purple background with the eyes and stuff, but it was a fantastic job, and it looked brilliant. Remix! Man, my size! Shout out to Kingsley, please, dude. Kingsley, are you watching? Kingsley! I hope you're not here to tell me I'm trash with a CH. But I hope you're doing well, Kingsley. And Maddie as well. If Maddie's around, tell Maddie I say hi. But hello, Kingsley. Hello, Maddie. Hello to the little Cyruses. And hello to Big Papa Cyrus as well. It's great to see you, Dave. While replaying the DLC to the first game, I noticed a really detailed moment in the Residence DLC. If you shine your flashlight at the lady, she catches you. Same if you turn the flashlight on or off. Interesting. See, that is attention to detail. I love that. I absolutely love that. That, you know, they've taken away like some ways to troll the game, as it were. Devante Knight says, one thing I began to think about... Slow down, chat! One thing I think about... Okay, sorry, I'm trying to read this. One thing I began to think about overall time period between events and games and books. Yeah. Now, the whole time frame thing is pretty difficult to nail down because we don't know the passage of time. Like, for instance, if we look at Mono in the Signal Tower, he grows old. So you assume he's been there for years upon years. But we don't know that the time in the Signal Tower works differently because it could be that time is... Because time is a human construct. You know, it's only linear because we perceive it that way. But in the Signal Tower, it might work absently from time in the real world. So in the counties, time could be linear, but that could be why the Thin Man is always an adult, because it pretty much immediately makes him a Thin Man. We see this transformation take place over the course of about 45 seconds. So we don't know that he wasn't just in there for that 45 seconds. We're not sure. It is implied that he was in there for a lot longer, but we don't know how long it actually was. So the concept of time could be really, really messed up. And we've never been given any reason to believe that it works normally, other than the fact that there are clocks in the Little Nightmares universe, as we see in the Maw, when we distract the janitor with them, and we see one in the school as well. He's in stitches. I'm glad. I'm doing World War One. Next is World War Two. I'm Ari, it's World War Two. Okay, but then there's how about getting ready for class. Now I need to actually get up and do it. Yes, get up and do it, please. Go to class. Go learn. Be educated. Stop wasting time sitting here watching me theorize. Like, we can theorize all you want at a later date, but not while you're supposed to be in school. But also, I would like to speak to you at some point, Mixed Giraffe, because we have art to discuss at some point. Mr. Uga, what if the tally marks in the basement of the hunter's cabin when you rescue 6 don't count days, but how many times the cycle is repeated? Yeah, I actually thought about that, and I think it was Jord who mentioned it initially when I watched one of his videos on them. Now, It might be how many times they've gone, but I think there's a deeper meaning to it. Okay, bear with me. Okay, bear with me for a second. If you guys are familiar with the game theorists, game theory, MatPat, who we will miss. MatPat, if by some stretch you hear this, we miss you, brother. Or we will. And thank you for everything. But MatPat has been doing some theories on Five Nights at Freddy's, one of which was the tally mark theory. And he actually got me thinking about the tally marks in Little Nightmares. Now, while it's true that some people have speculated that it might not be days, but it might be how many times the loop has gone through, I think it might also have a secret message in it, like Five Nights at Freddy's does, because the tally marks in Hunter's cabin, they're not the only ones. Excuse me. We see tally marks in the Hunter's cabin. We see them in the school where the dunce's room is, where the bullies have locked someone away and tied them to the chair. We see them in the hospital. And I think we even see them in the signal tower at one point or another. So I think that if somebody can sort of debunk that, or like decode it as it were, then that would be certainly worth considering. Yeah, I think that there could be more behind that, like even more than just the fact that there's that concept that you just came up with there, that that it's counting how many times the loop has gone through, which is absolutely true. That's absolutely valid, and it could very well be a thing. But I think that there could even be more to it than that. But that's only since listening to MatPat's theory on Freddy Fazbear. So I don't know. I'm just straight up like stealing an idea from MatPat at this point. But it might have something behind it, because a lot of Little Nightmares lore does. Chapter 2 of both Little Nightmares games, they're both filled with the different colours. So the chapters usually get one specific colour of lighting. Yeah. So like, you know, the school is very brown. The Hunter's area is very blue. The hospital is very grey, and then of Signal Tower is very, very purple. School is lame, stay here with us. No, RJ, stop being a bad influence. You of all people understand how important education is. Stop influencing my young audience. Mixture Ass says, okay, bye. Okay, bye. I think it would be cool if they're making more Little Nightmares games, that they make Little Nightmares to Little Nightmares 6. Yeah, that would be awesome if they finish with 6, because 6. Get ready, I'm always late, it's embarrassing. Yeah, pretty much. R.I.P. MatPat. Oh, MatPat's not dead. MatPat's not dead. He's just he's retiring from being the front man of film theory, of the game theorists, because it's taken up too much of his time, and he has his son, and he wants to spend time with his family and stuff like that. But he's not dead. I hate these ads. Yeah, me too. I've got ads. I've got ads on because I do want to get paid, but also I've got them on moderate, so hopefully you won't be seeing that many, and they won't be interrupting you guys too much. I'm really sorry that I couldn't just do an ad-free one, but the truth is, like, without YouTube, I can't pay my rent. So would be cool to see a part of Little Nightmares map set in an office, like sneaking under desks and running past cubicles. Yeah, I actually think that might be a thing. Or at least, because I know we visit an office in Little Nightmares 3, and it seems to be a monitor room, where I think that, like, you know, in the shopping mall, there's a monitor room with loads of screens, but you can't see really what's on them. You're just getting a lot of static and a lot of reverb. So I'm not sure, but we could actually visit an office, at least in some capacity. Yeah, that's what Fire Fun Time just said as well. 6, you're right, like propaganda and stuff. Yep. Alex the Frog, if you look at the scene after the door is opened and Mono walks towards the TV, the way Mono moves is odd. His movements are slow and he seems very focused on the TV, almost like he's hypnotized. But yeah, it could actually be having an effect on him. I'm not entirely sure why it would do that. Maybe it's awakening his hidden power, because we don't see him get to use it all that much until he comes across that TV. And he does get faster and faster as it goes on. So maybe, but I'm not sure why it would affect him so heavily. It could just be an artistic choice to build, like, you know, build some tension around that particular part of the game. Education is only for chumps. I said what I said. Nobody asked you, RJ. RJ. Do you ever hope to collab with Jod? Yeah, absolutely. It would be so good to the channel, and you guys could have a partnership with Little Nightmare. It would be awesome, and I would absolutely love to do a collab with Jod, but I don't think it's something that's on the cards, because the only thing I'd really think of collabing on Jod with would be theories. So if we did like a collaborated theory together, or if we play Little Nightmares 3 together, which I don't really see happening because I am nowhere near the same level as Jod. In fact, Jod is probably closer to Super Horror Bro Mike, and I feel like they're going to collaborate more than me and Jod ever could, because not only have Jod and Super Horror Bro Mike collaborated on the Glitched Out video game that they made together, but they've also collaborated in The Sounds of Nightmares. Jord wrote episode 5, and Super Horror Bro Mike wrote, I think it was episode 6. I can't remember which one Mike wrote, but they were all great, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, they've both worked on that together. They've worked on Glitch Codes, so I think if there's going to be a Little Nightmares 3 collab for Jord, it would be with Mike rather than myself. But yeah, who knows? You know, maybe in the future. But I think I've got some catching up to do before I could ask Jord for his time based on that. I hope there will be more Little Nightmares games. Oh, down with the system. Same for the scene before. Mono seems to be in pain because of the TV signal. Yeah, it does seem to hurt him. Like he's kind of got one hand on his head and the other like he's trying to block his eyes. So it could be that it's hypnotizing him. Maybe that's why he approaches the TV like that. You know, with one hand in front of his eyes, trying to shield himself from it. Resident Evil has a few topics in it. I don't think there's any harm in a carnival for it. For Little Nightmares. Yeah, I agree. Micro Chapter 2. Thank you, Junior Wills. Appreciate your input, because I did not know that. I thought it was 106, so thank you for clarifying. I appreciate it. Damn, I have to go soon. Stream has been fun. Yeah, it absolutely has. It's been really nice to have you guys here. I'm not calling it a day just yet. I've still got some time to go. And I actually prepared a couple of things for you guys that I'm going to get on with in just a minute. Jetty Spaghetti! Oh my god! My queen! Everybody bow! We are not worthy. Jet, like, this wonderful woman is my guardian angel. Everybody say hello, Jet. Jetty Spaghetti is a wonderful woman. She's been protecting me from somewhere up in the clouds for over a year now. What a magnificent person. It's great to see you, Jet. How are you, honey? How old are y'all anyway? I'm definitely underage for the game. Ha! So am I. Kind of Heinesen says, Flaw, that's right, maybe not for Resident Evil, but... Well, you know, somebody who popped in here earlier on, President of Evil, he's going to be doing similar content to me, you know, theories and what-ifs and theories. I'm not sure, like, what the word is, because I'm rushing, because I don't want to miss this chat. But he's going to be covering similar concepts to what I do, but with Resident Evil being the main focus rather than Little Nightmares. Anyway. Hi, RJ! Hi. What I'm thinking is happening there is the signal tower, the Thin Man himself was sending off signals in order to make Mono interact more with the TV. Yeah, probably. Probably they were using it as a draw. I think that they were just aiming at, you know, systematically taking out everyone. So all of the denizens of the Pale City became viewers, but they weren't the target. You know, he's targeting Mono, and he figures that's the best way is to just... If I just blanket drop everybody with this signal, eventually I'll get Mono. Kaima Heinesen says, I think that the Circus or Carnival in Little Nightmares 3 is not Little Nightmares worthy. I mean, clowns and stuff are more for games like Resident Evil. Well, I don't know. I feel like they can make it work, because I feel like not necessarily clowns, but I think puppets. I think puppets are going to be the main concept in there. Because I've seen a lot of puppet concepts throughout Little Nightmares. Way back in Little Nightmares 1, in fact, some of the creepiest things that I saw were the ones that Roger made. Because Roger makes toys, doesn't he? Makes dolls. So yeah, it could be something like that. You might be right. But also the carnival area reminds me a lot of that scene in Spirited Away. If you guys are familiar with Spirited Away, it was an old anime, like a Japanese anime cartoon. It's not a cartoon, it's an anime. And it was very good, and I know that a lot of Little Nightmares was inspired by Spirited Away. In fact, I covered that in a very early video. In fact, I've forgotten what it's called now. I think the video is just called She's Back, and it's Little Nightmares 3 theories. And I overlay Little Nightmares concepts on top of Spirited Away concepts, and you can see where the inspiration was drawn from. Feel out of the loop. What has Jetty done to achieve godlike status? Jetty is my guardian angel. She's protecting me on a level outside of the channel. I actually know Jet in real life, kinda, but she's just been very good to me, and I feel like she deserves a lot of respect. Because I have no other way to show my appreciation other than shouting her out. It's like, I wish I could. I wish I could do more for her. Junior Will says bye. Goodbye, Junior Wills, and thank you for your input. I appreciate you being here. It's been really good to see you. Parky Parks? Parky Parks is in the building. What's up, my guy? Parks in the building. Parks has got a brand new channel as well, guys, by the way. It used to be Blazing Fire, and now is Parky Parks. And he is a horror YouTuber. Horror reactions, mostly horror games and horror movies. In fact, some of my favourite content of his, I think it was on his old channel actually, but it was his reactions to short horror, and they were awesome. So yeah, if you guys are in for a scare, check out Parky Parks' channel because it's dope. It's brand new as well. Great to see you, Parks. Hope you're doing well, my brother. Alright then, guys, I tell you what, well, Trashy says, love your theories, keep it up. Thank you so much, Trashy. I really appreciate that. It's very kind of you to say. And Parks, things have been really good. This has actually been dope. I've been having a lot of fun chilling here with the guys and streaming. I'm not even playing the game. It's literally just here as background noise. But yeah, I'm just chilling. So guys, like I say, I prepared a couple of these Would You Rathers for you, just while I'm in, you know, in the midst of doing other bits. And I figure it might give us something else to talk about and discuss. I'm sorry if it's really loud. It might actually be really loud. So here's a quick volume warning. But I'm going to go to question 1 of the Would You Rather, and I'm going to leave it on screen while I head to the bathroom and refill my drink, and then I'm going to come back and see what you guys have to say about it. So bear with me and let me know what you think of this. I'm actually going to put a poll up as well regarding it. So 3, 2, 1, don't go anywhere. And smash like for me. Okay, there we go. All right, Ghost Kid's winning so far. Interesting. Yeah, sorry that went on for a little bit longer. Mr. Uga asked, what's my favourite Little Nightmares game? Little Nightmares 2. I love them all with my heart and soul. They're all phenomenal, but Little Nightmares 2 is my favourite. Scotland forever, because you'll never take our freedom. Also, sorry if I'm out of breath. I just had to sprint back up the stairs because I also got a top up for my beverage. Seriously, is that low? Ghost Kid. You know what? I think Ghost Kid could be a victim of the hunter. Not the hunter. The barber. I think he's a victim of the barber. Can I tell you guys a short theory of mine? Would you guys like to hear my short theory on the Ghost Kid? Video game type girls, Ghost Kid, Ghost Kid, Ghost Kid. Yeah, you were Ghost Kid for Halloween. Wilderness is your favourite area. Yeah, that's cool. Plenty good reason to explore the toddler's story. In fact, the toddler would be an interesting character to play as because his dimensions will be different to the others. So he probably runs slower. Well, I took screenshots of the newspapers and Little Nightmares 1. Did you manage to sort out the mic in your videos? Kinda. So I figured out what's going wrong. It seems to be that my microphone is only picking up. So the issue is, if I try and make a long form video, so when I read my script, I do it all in one sitting. And the longer a video goes on for, the more condensed my audio readings become. And if I go for like 10 minutes at a time reading a script, and usually reading the script takes me half an hour, even though it's only a 10-minute script, but it's because I screw up a lot because I'm not a professional. So when it comes to doing it, I go into my editing software and it looks like there's no volume because all the audio is hyper compressed and there's no way to reverse it. So I just have to play with the volume and pray. So I'm really sorry if the mic isn't picking up in my videos. You might notice in the last one I seem a bit too loud, and it's because I just maximised the volume to see what it did, and couldn't be bothered to redo the video and fix it afterwards because it'd take a week. I didn't have a week because I wanted you guys to hear my theory. But yeah, I'm getting there. I've almost fixed it. Yes, tell the theory. Yes. I have a Canadian accent. I love Canadian accents. Canadians are some of the nicest people I've ever met. I met some wonderful people from Canada. If it has no face, jump scare at least. Even though I was born in the UK. Fair enough. I have an Irish accent. I wish I could hear it. So I love Irish accents as well. To be fair, I like a lot of accents. I just don't like my own. Well, I don't mind my own, but I feel like I sound really common. Let's Hope the Barbers in Little Nightmares 3. The monster baby was, and maybe they most likely took it from Tarzia. Tarzia also made the barber. So yeah, I'm hoping that they pull some old concept arts from these games. Well, they clearly have because they've used Monster Baby. I'm just hoping that they make some of the others as well. See you later, Abyss. It's been great to see you. Always a pleasure. I'm sorry you didn't get to discuss the OST. I know you are the person to go to with regards to that. But yeah, thank you. Flo's got to go. No worries. I really appreciate you being here. It's been awesome. It's been absolutely awesome to have you, Flo. Thank you. Love these interactive streams. So do I. I like doing them, but they're unfortunately rare because I work a lot. So I've got to work a whole bunch, and then there's time in between them as well that I find really difficult. So even making a video takes me a good long time because I have a couple of jobs, and then I have projects on the go, and then I've got to work out and go to the gym, which I take very seriously. So yeah, there's all. Do I have more Would You Rathers? Yes, I do. I've got 4 more that I made especially for this stream that I might burn through in a little bit because we've actually been live for 2 hours now. I know it doesn't seem it because I was like 20 minutes late on account of my software. Still mad about it. I mean, either way. Speaking of the monster baby, did anyone notice the Guan baby pacifier? Oh, the baby pacifier. Yes, I did. That great big giant one. Yeah, I did notice that. I will revisit the live. Hopefully it'll still be on. I'll try and rewatch. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, if you get a chance to sort of stop by and rewatch them, please do. It'd be great to have you. Right, guys. Give me a sec. I'll tell you my quick theory because I made a few notes on it. So I have a theory about the Ghost Kid. So if you look at the Ghost Kids, so the only time we really see Ghost Kid is in the Little Nightmares electronic comic that came out back in 2021, and he only seems to have one arm. So he's in his ghost outfit, but he's got one arm cut out, just one. And there is also a concept art in the art book of the barber attacking a child, and the child is on the ground like this with their arm in the air, and they're like, oh no, like that, and it looks like the barber's about to cut off his arm. Could it be that the barber cut the arm off that kid But that kid escaped with their arm all bust up. You know, they lost their arm. It got chopped off, so they ran. And they ran across the street to the hospital because the barber shop is supposed to be situated right near the hospital. So they escape the barber and they flee with one arm, and they flee to the hospital, and they bandage themselves up, and they do whatever it takes. They get saved while they're there. They cover themselves in a sheet, and they stay there while they recover with one arm in the sheet. And they use the sheet to hide, potentially. So they maybe use the sheet to like hide themselves, and that's why there's a picture of Ghost Kid in the hospital. In the room, you know, where your children have drawn, there's actually a photo of Ghost Kid as well. But there's, more importantly, in the children's play area with the teddies, where you get the one that you throw into the incinerator, there's a picture of Ghost Kid in there. And the only way they could know about him is if, him or her, we don't know, but the only way they can know about Ghost Kid is if they were in the hospital in the first place. And they could only have one arm because it was cut off by the barber. And yeah, and even in the T-pose, you know, when you go to the when you go to the characters, what's it called? You know, the 3D renders of the characters where they all stand in T-poses so you can see the shape of them. Even that kid's T-pose only has one arm. It doesn't have another one secretly stashed under the blanket. So it's definitely missing an arm at some point. And the last little note I've got here that may or may not be relevant is the fact that in the comic he helps a rat that's been injured. He picks it up. And it's like, oh, he tries to look after this injured rat because maybe he sympathises because at one point he was injured also and needed care. So yeah, that's my short theory that I haven't really looked into. I literally thought of it this afternoon while I was making that Would You Rather. It does need a lot more flushing out if I'm going to prove it. But yeah, if that's something that you guys would like me to explore a bit more, let me know. Yeah, Flo, don't worry about it. You've been here for a long time. Nobody has to apologise if you have to go. Like, I stream for hours to give everybody the opportunity to come in and say their piece. That's why I don't just stream for half an hour and then leave. I try and stick around and dedicate an entire night to it if I can. But yeah, you know, don't feel like you have to apologise to me if you have to go or if you've got other things to do, because that's totally cool. Everybody has their own life outside of my live stream. Do you have more Would You Rathers? Yes, I do. Sorry, yeah, I'm going to put up a new one in a minute. What's your favourite video on your channel? Ooh, my favourite video on my channel is either my... Oh, it's tough. It's either my... I love my channel trailer because I worked super hard on that and I feel like I did a really good job of it and it got like the best response I'd ever had up until that point. So I love my channel trailer. I really like the Candyland theory because that was my first deep dive theory where I had to drive out of town and go to museums and do research on it. I even like approached people who worked for Tarsier on the Sounds of Nightmares and stuff like that to get the information I got to make that video. So I'm very proud of the Candyland theory and the hostile theories. They're two of my favourites to sort of level pegging. And I love my body transformation video. I'm super proud of that because it took a long time and a lot of people were inspired by it. So I'm very happy with that. They're probably my favourites on the whole channel. See you later, 6. Bye. Really need to get the first comics. Never had to get the chance to read them. Yeah, I mean, I bought that hard copy and it was super expensive because I had to buy it like secondhand because you can't buy them now. You can't buy them new. You have to buy them secondhand now, unfortunately. Yeah, so you can get them, but they're just a bit hard to come by. It took me about a month to get that one. And again, I had to go out of town to get it. Been thinking of that theory as well. I love how you brought that off. Yeah. Such a great theory. Good job. And thank you, J.K. Mal. I appreciate that. Speaking of the hospital, did anyone notice the brain scan showing a specific... Yes, I think it's Noon's brain scan because she has a tumour. It's revealed towards the end of Little Nightmares... it's revealed towards the end of the Sounds of Nightmares that Noon has a brain tumour. She has a growth. She has an abnormality in her brain. And if you look at the scan, that's pretty reminiscent of what that would look like, what an abnormality in the brain would look like. I think that could be Noon's brain scan. In fact, the very same brain scan can be seen on a Twitter post that that Bandai put out for the Sounds of Nightmares reaching 1 million listens. So the Sounds of Nightmares got 1 million downloads So they celebrated by posting a picture on Twitter, or X, whatever we call it now, of Otto's desk with some details and the recorder that he uses to record every episode. The candies, you know, the spiral candies, the hard candy that he offers to Noon, and there's a brain scan on the table as well, and it's the same brain scan that we see in the hospital. So I think that. That's a sick theory. Thank you, Trashy. I don't know how many people know this, but the Runaway Kid was originally going to be the main character in Little Nightmares 2. You can see him in the concept art alongside Six Tears. Yeah, that's actually true, and it's very interesting. I think it was when they were playing around with the idea of a male character versus a female character. In fact, right at the beginning, they didn't even want to confirm whether or not Six was a boy or a girl. They were just going to leave it like as I hate it when my brain does this. You know, when you know a word and you just can't think of it. But they wanted to leave it ambiguous. That's the word, ambiguous. God damn it. That was hard. Maybe I should stop drinking this cola. They wanted to leave Six's gender ambiguous, but maybe that was just really hard to do. Ghost Kid wasn't doing the T pose, he was doing the L pose. Yeah, straight up. And back, did I miss anything? Zushiku, yeah, you missed a little bit. Nothing super special, but just a couple. And yeah, that was the first Would You Rather. Who's your favourite character out of all the characters you've ever met, and which one would you like to know more about? Dark Six. I want to know about Dark Six. I want to know everything about Dark Six. I think she's an incredibly, thought-provoking character. And I'd really like some background on Six and Dark Six. When Six left the stream, she actually went to eat him. Yeah, the barber cut off the ghost's arm. Yeah, and that's what I think as well. I figured that from the concept art of him. Yeah. Bandy hearted my comment on that. Thank you. Little Nightmares is quite literally a well that you can't get out of. It really is. Yeah, RJ from Casual Hardcore Gamers is not wrong at all. Also, you guys, Casual Hardcore Gamers, our boy RJ over there, is a trophy hunter, and he specialises in getting platinum trophies. Would any of you care to see him do the platinum for Little Nightmares 1 and 2 over on his channel, where he literally deep dives how to do it and where to go? I know that a lot of you guys will already have it, but do you think it would be interesting to watch him, a complete newcomer to the franchise, try and accomplish it? I think it would. I would actually love to see RJ play Little Nightmares. Gemini, the theory you did about the flashlight girl is my favourite Little Nightmares theory so far. You explained it really good, and I really feel like it's a possibility for what really happened to her. Yeah, I agree. I feel like that was, I feel like a lot of it was almost canon in a way, and it took a lot of, thinking about, but I feel like the reason that theory has got so much relevance and why it's so, why you're so convinced that it's true is because we have the most evidence to support it. So, Little Nightmares 3 theories are really hard to come up with because all we have is a trailer. That's it. Whereas for Flashlight Girl, we've got 3 games and the Sounds of Nightmares and all the concept arts and all the other fan theories. So I had a big pool to pull information from and to link stuff up, whereas Little Nightmares 3, like the one I made recently about Lo's anklet, or the super weapon theory about the monster baby, literally all I had to go by was the concept arts for Little Nightmares 3, the trailer, and then the gameplay trailer as well, the 18-minute gameplay that came out shortly after. I do appreciate what you said as well. Thank you so much for that. It's always nice when people say kind things about my theories. It makes me feel better. Yeah. I would love for someone to recreate the entire Maw as a set, and you can explore the whole thing. That's a dream. Yeah, that would be awesome. In fact, I went to a museum ages ago that was quite similar to that. It wasn't the Maw, but it was everything was giant. So the chairs were 6 feet high. And stuff, and the TVs were as big as entire walls. So it was like walking through a house, but you were a mouse. So it really gave you that whole Little Nightmares vibe, because as you're walking around, all the doors are enormous. The doors are 30 feet high, and stuff like that, and they're really thick. The chairs are enormous. There's the TVs are enormous. There's even giant plant pots and stuff like that. There's an ashtray that's like this big. Like it's huge. It was really cool, a really good concept. It kind of makes me think Harry Potter is such a phenomenally successful franchise that you can literally go onto the set and walk around and experience it like it's real. And I would love if they could do something like that for Little Nightmares. I know that's way beyond the realm of possibility as far as funding goes right now, but it would be super cool. I'd love that. Kenshi dude, what you doing? How you doing? How are you? Oh, you son of a... Leaving by, might be back later. No worries, Mr. Uga. It's been really good to see you. Who do you think is the most recognisable monster in Little Nightmares? I think it's good old Roger Roger. Couldn't agree more. Yeah, Roger is definitely the most, like, iconic character. And he's the one that most people would recognise from the franchise as well. Because I think because he's the first monster anyone comes up with, even if people haven't finished the game, they'd still know Roger is because we encounter him so early in the game. So yeah, I would agree that Roger is the most recognisable character. How dare you, Gemini? I'll never forgive you. Nani? I just started trophy hunting. I'm going for the torturous Cuphead Platinum. Oh my days, cool games! Right, so I've got the... RJ, don't go anywhere, don't you? You ain't there, blood. RJ is going to do the Platinum for Cuphead because I did it and he also did it. He is very, very good. RJ is an exceptional Cuphead player. I like to think I'm pretty good. If you guys have seen my old streams before, I can like zero death the whole game. So I can play the game on expert, play the whole thing through without dying. I get S ranks on every boss. I'm pretty good at Cuphead. So I like challenging people to it. I like being like, let's see if you're as good as me. And some people are, don't get me wrong, some people absolutely sweat that game. But I'm pretty good at Cuphead. And I made RJ play it, and RJ, being a trophy hunter, he had to get good in order to get the Platinum. And yeah, it's very, very hard to do, but it's so good. It's so good. I love Cuphead. It's a lot of fun to play. And he appears the most. Yes, he does. Gemini, this is a bit of an ask, but if you could, you should make a video exploring if Mono wanted 6 to drop in for the first-person view. I think it would make a cool theory video. Yes, it would, Solomax. And now that you've mentioned about the subtle nod, where Mono kind of nods at her as if to say, yeah, go ahead, it's okay. I didn't know that. That's something that's freshly brought to light for me, so I'm not sure, but I would love to explore it. It might not be a full video, it might be a short theory like my Ghost Boy one just now, but whatever the case, I will look into it for you, and if you leave a comment on my next video, or on this video in fact, if I do look into that and I get any kind of light bulb moment from it, I'll be sure to hit you up and let you know what I think. Probably gone. It was actually a TV show, not show. The news of it. Yeah, okay, bye. Hey, Gemini, you're putting out so much good time. Oh, yay! P. Diddy MDC. Thank you so much for what you said. That's very kind of you. I'm really sorry if I'm missing some of these comments, by the way. And yeah, Nightmare, I do have a Discord. But I don't necessarily give it out, but I am on Just George's Little Nightmares Discord. You'll see me. In fact, I've literally posted the video there on the... now streaming channel. So if you want to add me and like have a little chat and things like that, please feel free to go ahead and do that. The only thing is, please don't think I'm ignorant on Discord, and again, it's not me being big-headed or being douchey or anything. I am part of dozens of Discord groups because I use them as a means to advertise my videos. So I get hundreds of messages every day, and I've got 722 messages today. I don't read them because I can't just sit here because, like I say, I'm at work, I'm at the gym, I'm making videos, I've got loads of other stuff to do. I will get back to you. If you message me on Discord, I will reply, but it might not be for a week or two. So please don't think you're being ignored. If anyone does decide to add me and drop me a message, please don't think I'm being a douche. It's just super hard to keep up. That's actually why I'm doing this video, because I can address all of your comments, theories, and speculations and questions here live while I can read them. Whereas if you drop them in the comments, I will read them, but I can only address so many. And this way, I get to come on live and let you guys know I'm not ignoring you. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Let's talk while I've got the time. 10 p.m. in the Netherlands, watching my favourite YouTube... Oh, my guy. Thank you. Am I really your favourite? That's so kind. Thank you. Abyss is back. Who told me about the ferryman did? Alright, I'm a head out draw. Yeah, you go ahead and draw more faceless art and skills. I can't wait. Love your videos. Thank you so much. I'd love to see some of your artwork as well. I really like artists because I appreciate it because both my mother and father were artists. Are artists, should I say. They're retired now, but they were artists for a long time. Phenomenal. Really, really good. And I didn't really take on that gene. I can draw, but not very well. You know, I couldn't write my own graphic novel or anything. So I'm always inspired to see people's artwork. So if you've got artwork to send me that you would like me to see, please do, because I'd love to see it. Back, sorry. That's all right, Mr. Uga. No worries. The Nod Mono Dig could just be looking up and down at 6 wondering what's taking. So it could, absolutely. And I'm hoping that he has some telltale sign. But I'm not sure. But I'll definitely have a look into it. Clamore says there's a certain room that shows a mirror that Lo and Alone go through that I think brings them to the necropolis. The mirror in the gameplay video shows a similar looking room. Yes, it does. And I think that similar looking room that they go through. At first I thought it looks like the school's dining area. Oh, excuse me. But after considering my Candyland theory, I think that room they come out of is actually the back of a candy store. I think that's a storage area in a candy shop. Because you can see some of the there's boxes with spirals on that could be boxes for lollipops, and there's parts of empty parts of plastic displays that could be used to have candy on them, and things like that. And also, I think that Lo's mask is made of paper mache. I think that he made it himself. I don't think it's actual bone. I think it's paper mache because I think we can see another one in that mirror. So right at the beginning, if you guys haven't seen this, and I might be wrong. But feel free to check it out. In the gameplay trailer, when Lo and Alone come through the mirror, just before the mirror shatters, you get a look into that room. And on the bottom shelf, in the bottom right, there's a little white object that looks a lot like Lo's mask. And it could very well, that could be where he even got the mask from. That, you know, if it's not the room that we think it is, that we saw in the trailer, then it could be where Lo got the mask from originally anyway. He could have just made it himself. Have a little look at that if you haven't already. I will feature it in a future video when I look more into Lo and Alone as characters. But yeah, that's going to be cool. Gemini, will you do another stream like this? I absolutely will. They're just quite rare. I generally go live like once a month. And I try to go live and like talk to you guys and interact as much as I can. I love doing them. It's just really difficult to actually find the time, so it's only like once a month, sometimes twice if I'm fortunate, if I can get a day off. But yeah, there absolutely will be another one, and I absolutely will advertise it like this. Don't worry, I prematurely made myself a Discord server for my channel too. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Gemini, what are you doing? Gemini, what do you think about the weird tendrils behind the Hive monster? Ooh. They're even animated, even though... That's interesting. So I think there was a couple of different concepts for the tendrils, for the eye monster. I think that the original design would have the creature look through the screens, so, you know, that there is actually a cut area of the game from early development where there was an eyeball in the TV, and Mono and Six have to kind of avoid it, back when Mono had a TV for a head. And so I think that the eyes were what they were using to look out of the screen, and then the tendrils that they animated were going to be designed to reach out and pull your character in, or pull the viewers in, or something like that, because there was a bunch of different concepts for the signal tower, you know, what it was supposed to look like, and one of them was like a mass of flesh like it is now, but rather than just eyes, it had faces and hands and tendrils and all sorts of other stuff. It could just be that they made a last minute decision to change some of the concepts, and so it didn't get used, but it's still in the game. Kind of like the mesh for, kind of like the lunch lady. You know, her concept exists, but it's dead in the cafeteria in the school. Gemini, do you think about Also, where did you get the name Gemini from? So the story behind the name Gemini is because I am schizophrenic. So it's kind of a sob story that I won't go too much into, but I physically cannot get lonely. ever. Like a complete impossibility. It's another reason why I've never I don't want to be in a relationship. I like being alone because I'm never alone. The way the channel conceptualizes this is it's basically me embracing my disability, because I feel like it gives me an edge in some regards. So like I'm really good at being on my own. The difference is, if I, everyone talks to themselves. When I talk to myself, I get a reply, because there's always a conversation going on in my head permanently between me and the other guy. I haven't named him. I just call him the other guy. And I like to think that he's a part of the channel because he's a part of who I am. And me accepting that, and like not only accepting it but embracing it and making it a part of my persona online, it just makes things easier for me. I don't have to hide anything about who I am. It's nothing that I'm ashamed of. I'm in fact very open about it, and I feel like people who suffer the way I do should be, because I experience the world a little bit differently to the way everyone else does. The Gemini name comes from the fact that there is twins, two of us. There's always two of us. There's always been two of us, and there always will be two of us. And the Gemini zodiac, the star sign, is twins, two people. There's always two of them, like there's always two of me. Anyway, what do you theorize will happen when one of the players dies during online co-op? Kev. I'm sorry. I'm just going to call you Kev because I can't see your name from here because the screen's miles away. But I theorise that if one of the players dies, it will just fade to black. The same as if you die here and Six just sort of gets left alone. So, when you fall off somewhere and Six is just like, oh, well, never mind, and should just carry on. I think the screen will just fade to black and make you both restart so that one person can't continue without the other. I think that's the safest way it'll do it. This is what I like, the type of live streams. Do you know the most famous YouTuber, and that's better because I can actually react? Yeah, this is the point, is like, I'm reacting like this now because I have been fortunate enough to converse with some very, very large YouTubers. And one of the main things that they have confessed to me is the fact that they are distraught and upset by the fact that they can't communicate with everyone. If Markiplier goes live, he will have up to 40,000 people at one time trying to talk to him. And so that means that if he speaks to one person, then he's essentially ignoring 39,999 other people that would like his attention. I am in a position where I am not large enough, I'm not big enough to justify ignoring people. I can keep up with this chat at least reasonably well. And while I have the capacity to do that, I would like to, because you guys are the fundamentals of this channel. You are my foundation. And you guys probably always will be. So like in 5 years' time, when I've got 100,000 subscribers and I've got 1,000 people in chat and I can't keep up, I'd like you to know that I'm not ignoring you because I don't value you, because I absolutely do. I'll be ignoring you because I can't keep up with the chat because it's going too fast. And if I continue the way I'm going, it will eventually reach that point, like it did for Markiplier, like it did for Jord, and like it has for a lot of other YouTubers. But right now, I'm in a position where I can actively communicate and interact with all of you individually while I'm live. So I'd like to take the opportunity to do it while I'm able, because maybe in the near future, I won't be able to. But at least you guys will know that I would, if I could. Gemini, what's your favourite character from any Little Nightmares games, and where did you get them in Gemini? Well, that's I think you might have just heard my story about that the Gemini concept and where my name came from. And my favourite character is the teacher. Well, my favourite child is Six, and my favourite monster is the teacher. Also, Gemini, my zodiac. Yeah, Gemini. Yeah, funnily enough, Gemini is not my zodiac. That's not where it comes from at all. I just named it that because it was the most similar concept. It's something that I studied for quite a while, but I am not actually a Gemini as far as birthdays are concerned. Well, the story of where your name came from really just made me cry. Oh, no, don't cry. No, don't be upset. It's a good story. It's fine because, if you think of it this way, a lot of people think that I am suffering. And when I tell them my story about the things I experience and the way I see the world and things like that, people think, oh, you poor soul. Things must be so hard for you. And they were growing up. They were difficult. There was a lot of things that would happen to me that I couldn't explain and that didn't make sense to a lot of people. So it made me weird. You know, it made me strange and quite isolated and stuff, but it was character building. You know, I've learned to embrace my flaws and utilize them to a point where I can find motivation and positivity in it. I'm in this position right now because of him. You know, we work together as a team. The way I see it, it's a defense mechanism. I always have a friend. I'm never alone. So don't be sad for me and don't cry for me, because I am happy and I am comfortable. And my story might seem like a sob story because it involves mental illness and some trials and tribulations, but it's built my character to a point where I can confidently sit in a room full of you guys and openly discuss it. I can openly discuss it at the gym with people who look up to me. I can teach it in my classes where I teach martial arts, where the younger folks will look up to me and will resonate with what I say and take some inspiration and motivation for themselves. Please do not weep for me. Don't be sad for me, because I am not sad. I might suffer, in quotations, but I'm not suffering. I mean, I'm afflicted by something that a lot of people aren't. I'm different, but I'm not sad about it. Trust me. Don't cry. It's all good. Scary people could just troll by jumping in for the ladder. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I haven't played at all since I literally haven't, because every time I pick up the controller, more chat comes up and I don't want to miss any of it. Poor Alone. And what would happen if you shoot? Oh no, I don't want to know. I'm guessing you can't hurt her. I really hope you can't hurt her. Hello there from Northern AZ, Shining Stars. Hello there. Welcome to the stream. It's great to meet you. Hope you're doing okay. Abyss has to go. See you later, Abyss. It's always a pleasure to have you stop by. I'll probably see you soon. That'll be a friendship ender. Yeah, definitely. If someone shot me with an arrow, I'd be pretty pissed. Don't do that. You can call me Jazz. Yep, Jazz. Mono is a cinnamon roll. Ah. Okay, you were another me. We both live in the UK. We both like tanks. We both have schizophrenia. Dude! Alright! Brofist! That's awesome. That's so cool. Hey, are you a theorist as well? Tsushiki, you only live once and you've got to see what happens. Couldn't agree more. Also, you guys, if you haven't smashed like on this video, please do, because I would like to get this. I would like this to be my most successful stream ever, especially considering I haven't played the game. Like, I've barely touched it. I've like legitimately not touched the game, and you guys are still talking. Like, trust me, the idea was always to talk with you guys more than it was to play the game. The game's literally just there if the chat dies off, but it hasn't died off in 2.5 hours, and I don't expect it to anytime soon. So if you want me to play the game, I will, but I also have some more Would You Rathers for you guys. In fact, do you want one now? Who wants another Would You Rather? Because I made them special for this stream. Gemini, I just wanted to say that you're one of my favourite YouTubers among Super Horror Bro and Jorky, but thank you so much. 'Tis Nice Games, that's so kind of you to say. And to put me in the same bracket as Just Jord and Super Horror Bro. Like, because, like, Jord and, like, Super Horror Bro Mike is phenomenal, don't get me wrong. But Jord has been one of my favourites for a long, long time. So to put me in the same bracket as legends like them is heartwarming for me. It really makes me, like, feel inspired to continue doing this. Thank you so much. That's really nice of you to say. Probably nothing, I must admit. Would be an interesting experiment. You're a monster. Keep up the good work. Saddest part of Little Nightmares 2 isn't when Mono gets betrayed. It's when Mono just accepts his fate before... Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, when he takes off the mask and lets it float away. He's basically like, well, let's go. Let's do this. I love it. I love when Mono stands. Because he's in the... You know, he's standing there in the face of adversity and he's thinking, well... This is it. You know, I'm either going to save my friend or I'm going to die trying. Let's go. And he takes him. I absolutely love it. Proper David and Goliath moment. Mono is a cinnamon roll. All right. Thinking of starting a Little Nightmares podcast. Any thoughts or inspiration? Yeah, absolutely. In fact, what I would suggest is coming up with ideas like this Would You Rather series or what if scenarios. So, like, what if runaway kids survived, and then you can discuss that and maybe bring on guests to the show, and they could also like posit their thoughts and theories and discuss them with you, and then over the course of like half an hour, 45 minutes, you guys discuss different thoughts, theories and speculations on what if scenarios or would you rather scenarios and things like that. I think that would be really cool, and this is a topic that people never get bored of discussing, as is evident by the chat. Yeah, if you would like to do something like that, fire up a YouTube channel and start it, because I would love to watch it myself, in fact. Oh, Trashy's got to go. No worries. See you later. Stop. No, don't stop being awesome. Yeah, keep being awesome. Faceless Art has returned. Hello. You didn't draw for very long. I feel like there's so much they're hiding. I feel like so little has been shown in the different chapters and enemies, which hypes me. Yeah, likewise. I feel like that's part of it. I think that one of the biggest draws from Little Nightmares for the Nowhere for me is the fact that we don't know everything. They leave so much up to interpretation that it's really, really thought-provoking, and I think that's what keeps drawing us back. If they just handed us the Law Bible and said, you know, you can literally Google the answers to anything, then we wouldn't be here. Like, we've spent the past 2.5 hours theorizing and speculating, and nothing any of us have said has been proven at all. It's barely even been hinted at, yet we're here discussing it. But if they'd already given us all the answers, I think most of us wouldn't be here, because there'd be nothing to discuss. We'd already know. If you think about the end of Little Nightmares, one is 6 force choking a bunch of dummies. Yeah, pretty much. A YouTuber that does Little Nightmares I recommend is called Terrico. Yeah, Terrico is amazing. He's a very, very good theorist. Very interesting. I discovered his content a little while ago. He doesn't just cover Little Nightmares. He covers a whole like vast majority of games, which is why he's very, very successful. I think he had like 250,000 subscribers or something. He's really good. Very impressive. Yeah, absolutely check out Terrico. Fantastic YouTuber. I think it's a good idea if you're going to work and make a game of Super Horror Bro and just Jord and Michael do more in the game. Yeah. Oh, like I would love to work with them at one point or another. I also feel like I don't have enough to bring to the table. I feel like if I was going to put myself out there and say, you know, you guys should work with me, I've got to have something to offer them. And so far, I don't offer anything more than what they do already. Like, they already bring everything to the table that I do. I'm just piggybacking off the back of their success, essentially. I'm doing it in my own way, don't get me wrong, but I don't feel like there's anything I could offer them that would really make them think, yeah, this guy, I want to work with this dude, other than my enthusiasm. I've got that in droves. I'm going to make some tea. I don't blame you. Gekuyom says, what if in the end of Little Nightmares 3 we see a battle between Six and Law, since Six has the power of the lady and Law has the lady's weakness, that being the mirrors? Ooh, yeah. Yeah, now that would be cool. That would be really cool, actually, to see Law fight with, like, Six or Shadow Six, or whatever Six has become, if she is, in fact, the enemy at the end of the game. That would be really cool. I like that. Can we just get an L in the chat for Jester from the podcast? Yeah, absolutely. L's in the chat for Jester, guys, because the poor dude, I'd love to see more on Jester, but he can't get a break. Truly the most disturbing and disgusting to me. Would have loved it. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Him and Rusty were awesome characters. Poor boys. L's for Jester. Thin Man is basically Little Nightmares. Plugging the TV. Would unplugging the TV be an acceptable choice to get rid of the Thin Man? You know what? I thought of that, because maybe if he comes halfway out of the TV and you unplug it, would it just sever him in two like a Rick and Morty portal? That'd be dope. Game over. Don't have a TV, I'm safe. Yeah, you're alright. Made it back. No worries. Good to see you, Mal. Okay then, dudes, let's get another Would You Rather going on. I'm going to end the poll on the last one, and I'm going to start up a new one. So again, quick warning on the volume. These might be loud. I haven't had a chance to change them up. But we're going in 3, 2, 1. Hit it. Alrighty, cool, cool, cool. So, out of these two characters that we do not get to kill, and I had to write unalive because YouTube. But yeah, who would you rather unalive out of these two beasts? The teacher or the chefs? Now, yeah, you can take the two chefs. Like you can have them together, that's fine. Because they're essentially the same thing. But out of all the monsters that we don't get to kill, because we do away with Roger. We kill Roger, we kill the lady, we kill the janitor, essentially. Oh, sorry, that is Roger. We kill the doctor, we kill the thin man, we kill the hunter. You know, there's very few enemies that we don't actually dispose of. But these are some of the worst ones. You have no clue how many times this have to be in my dreams. Yeah. By the way, Gemini, I joined George's server and submitted 2 art plays. Oh, yeah, I'd love to see them. Absolutely, yeah. In fact, if you want to tag me, please do. I will go through the server later on and I'll have a look at your artwork, Faceless. That's brilliant. I'm really glad you said that. Thank you. Also, Ghost Kid won that other one by a landslide. 38 votes and 78% of them were for the Ghost Kid. Teacher. Yeah, I would vote teacher as well because I just feel like she's crueler. You know, like the teachers seems to have, the chefs seem to have a purpose outside of just killing children. So while they are horrible, sadistic dwellers of the deep, it's not their only purpose. They have a job and they have a function in the world outside of killing children, which still sucks and they still deserve death. But the teacher, basically her entirety, like everything about her is specifically designed to torture and abuse and eventually murder children. I just feel like she's worse. She's worse than both of the chefs combined. So if it was up to me, I'd off the teacher straight away. But I also wouldn't because she's my favourite character, but she's my favourite character because, to me, she's the most frightening. Do you think the map from the school is a world map or a regional map? I think it's a world map. It's tough to say because it's something where it's conceptual, but because we don't have any point of reference for the size of these continents and these oceans and these areas, and there's no labels on it or anything, there's no way for us to really know. But I would assume it's a world map because I remember when I was in school, all of the maps that we ever had were of the world. They were all just everything rather than just one specific area. Gemini should do a new short series like Would You Rather, but what would you do? Yeah, I actually thought about this. It's just getting the concept in because the only problem with the short series is typically I don't have them full screen like this. I made these ones full screen for this stream, but typically they're in short form, which means I've only got like a phone screen's worth of area to work with. So it's quite hard to ask the questions. But once I figure out a comfortable way to structure the video, I will actually make more like that. I will expand on the Would You Rather series with like what if scenarios and what would you do scenarios, where it's like would you rather ifs. So like I'll ask a question but have a sacrifice you have to make. So like, would you rather be 6 and you get the lady's power, or I don't know, mono with the thin man's power, or something like that. I can't think of it straight off the top of my head, but it's like I don't know. Would you rather be a guest, but only I don't know. I can't think of any off the top. Wait and see, because that will come when I suss it out. Sorry, Chef Boys. I horrifyingly enjoy the teacher too much. Chef all the way. Get that deformed giraffe of a teacher out of my life and into the furnace with the doctor. Yeah, absolutely. Maybe you should mirror death her. Get her to chase Law through a mirror. I hope we visit the school and that's what happens to her. Which she chases Law through the mirror and then he smashes it and she just decapitated. Damn, I have to go now. I have a YouTube channel to run. No worries. TJK Go. The 4th. No, the 5th. I think. I don't know. The 9th. I don't know. I'm struggling to read your name because it's miles away. But either way, I'll see you soon. And thanks for stopping by. Not off in half. Oh, don't insult giraffes like that. You're an exception. Worry not. The teacher, because she reminds me of the teacher's background. Likewise, yeah, that's why she frightens me. Yeah, Glitch Ghost, there's another similarity between you and me. My teachers in primary school, there was one in particular, and basically, I think that the teacher in Little Nightmares was based on this woman. She was awful. What's your tag? Oh, I don't know. Because I'm just called Gemini on it, but I don't know what my tag is. I don't know it off by heart, but I'll find you. Trust me. Trust me, I'll find it. Teacher, because she reminds me of school. Hate school. Yeah, I did too. That's why I like the teacher. She's unhinged. Yeah, exactly. That's why I like the teacher as a character, but it's also why I would want to murder the teacher. Not because I don't want to see her in the game, but because it would be very satisfying to put an end to that torture. She makes me cringe so much. She's horrible. Brilliant, brilliant character design. One of the best I've ever seen. See you soon, Giraffe. Before Little Nightmares 2 came out, I theorised we killed the teacher by decapitating her in an event, which is similar to what ended up happening. We just didn't kill her. Yeah, exactly, but maybe. If she's not dead yet, we might have an opportunity. Esquisita, Gemini, do you think a series or perhaps a stop motion film would work? Like, always liked imagining any type of stop motion media for the front. Yeah, I think it could potentially work because the art style would fit quite well. I always thought that you know Coraline, that movie, Tim Burton, I think it is. It's got a girl in a yellow raincoat, and it's kind of that like sort of Pixar sort of stop motion animation sort of thing. I feel like it could absolutely work. If you do it right and it's smooth and crisp, then yeah, it could work because the art style would like be reminiscent, and I feel like it's got that sort of old world sort of vibe, you know, like Wallace and Gromit does, or Chicken Run, them kind of movies or film series. I feel like that could absolutely work because it gives off the same aesthetic as Little Nightmares does. It could definitely work. I just think you'd have to do it right. And I think it would be difficult to tell a story because obviously in a TV series, it might be hard when the characters have no dialogue. But either way, in the TV show, maybe they will have dialogue. We don't know. But I think if they're trying to stay true to the source material, then the characters won't talk to each other. They'll just communicate differently. If that maps to the world, it looks small. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. Gemini, I'm good at logo designs, by the way. So if you need a new logo, you know my name. Appreciate you, Kai. Well, the logo I actually designed myself, and I really like it. But if you are an artist, I've always got room for artists. You know, if me and you converse a little bit further, there's a couple of artists I'm talking to with regard to making a few things for the channel, a couple of concepts that I would like to bring to life. I did try to find you a Joel server, but can't find your usernames, and maybe you could. Yeah, absolutely. In fact, Faceless, if you go on to George's server, scroll down to the streaming channel, you'll see that I posted this video there. That's me. I hate to crush people's hopes, but I doubt we're going to see the barber in the Pill City resident in the concert. Yeah, I know. It's a pity that we might not get to see the barber. It could just be like a lost concept that we never got, like a Wax Bellman, for instance. He would be awesome, but I don't see him playing a larger role in the games unless they come up with a reason to expand on his lore. But as it stands, I can't really see it myself. At least not yet. I usually don't get scared from the teacher that much. When I die sometimes, her screams and her fastness. Yeah, it's the noises she makes are just so well done. They're incredible. So excited to see more of the main monsters in upcoming trailers. Yeah, same. I hope there's more than 5 chapters too. I think the reason the teacher is the only character we didn't kill is so we know that she's still out there. Yeah, so that you can't sleep at night knowing that she's on the move. Still looking for you. And you're never safe from her either. She can get in anywhere. I think that there will just be 5 because that's the theme. Yeah, potentially. I hope it's longer, but I don't know if it will be. And if it is, it won't be dramatically longer. If it's a time loop, then basically none of the monsters are dead. Don't say that. Anyways, I'm Evaporate again now. No worries, no worries. I can't wait to see your artwork, Faceless. I'm back. What did I miss? Not very much, TJ. Not very much at all. We're just having a chat and just me gas-bagging. I haven't played any of the game. I don't even know why I fired it up, to be honest. This might be morbid, but I kind of wish we got to see more of the teacher interacting with the porcelain bully. Yeah, so do I, in a way, because I don't know. I think that's what puts the shits up me a little bit, is the fact that she's so cruel. Like, even to the bullies. The bullies are vile and awful and violent and dangerous, and she makes them shake in their boots. Like, she's just so imposing. I love the teacher. She's such a brilliant horror monster. Gemini, do you think the devs wanted us to find out the little secret in first person about the nod? I think it could just be a mistake. It's less likely because I don't think they ever expected us to play in first person. Because if they did, I think they would have done away with the dollhouse aspect. When you play first person, if you look to the right, it's just endless abyss. And it sort of kills the vibe a little bit, and you lose some of the immersion because it was never meant to be played in first person. The same reason why they didn't bother modelling heads for the hanging man. You know, you can literally go out of bounds and look up there, and when the janitor is behind the wall, you know, coming in through the pipes, there's actually two janitors, because it was just easier to animate one arm on either janitor than it was to animate both his arms at the same time. So yeah, I think that it was just potentially a mistake or an oversight or just something that, you know, maybe had some meaning but, you know, wasn't intentional. Maybe it's just something for us to speculate on. But it's definitely worth looking into, because if you're reading into the character's emotions that much, then it might be worth these subtle, you know, like including these subtle little things like a nod or, you know, an extension of the hand or something like that. It could very well be intentional, but I don't think it is. I'm not sold on the idea, but at the same time, I haven't really thought about it all that much. That's a weird part. I don't see very much. Yeah, I think each other 5 maybe watch longer. Maybe. Paul Hunter's been trying to do that skin for like an hour. Yeah, I know. But at least he's getting to do what he loves instead of shooting at me. Hey, it was so much fun. I have to go. No worries, Kai. It's been great to see you. Thanks again for stopping by. I really appreciate it. I'm glad that you mixed up the times and were able to come and visit us. Thank you. On the main cover, it shows the teacher stretching her neck all the way to the Pale City. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you are not escape. You're completely isolated. There is no escape from the teacher. I have a would you rather question. Would you rather be in a room with all Little Nightmares 1 monsters or all Little Nightmares 2? 1. 100% 1. Just because I would rather be in a room with every monster ever conceptualized than step into a room with the teacher. Because F all of that. I would just straight up F4 out of there. No thank you. I'd take on all of them with my hands. I'd eat the chefs. I'd arm wrestle the janitor. I would go swimming with the granny. But sod getting into a room with the teacher. Absolutely not. No. Do you think the teacher suffered some brain damage? Yeah, definitely. I absolutely feel like she did. Especially cramming her head through all that metal. She must have done some kind... I'd have had an aneurysm. Yeah, there's another thing. So... Teacher won this one, again by a landslide, so good times. I'm happy with that result. But let's do another one, because I prepared a couple of these, and I am actually running out of time now, because I've been talking for a while, and chat is quieting off a little bit, so I'm going to assume that we've said most of the things we want to say. Again, if you guys have questions or speculations, please put them in there so I can read them in good time. But for now, I am going to drop another Would You Rather in the chat and see what you guys think. Tell me what you think of this one. And also, if you haven't smashed like and subscribed, please do so, because I feel like you'll enjoy what I've got coming up next. Bye. we go. That one's a little bit different. Now, I saw the concept of the third chef a couple of times. So when I played the game, I was curious as to why we only came across two. We even only see pictures of the two chefs. In fact, it's quite it's really driven into us that they are twin chefs and there's two of them. Even going so far as having two toilets beside each other, two beds beside each other. Even the picture frame split down the middle has two. So what happened to the third one? Well, the third one was scrapped, obviously. Probably because it would make the game a little bit too difficult, having all of them at the same time. Oh, I'm getting so many hearts. That's nice. Yeah, and much the same as the lunch lady, she was also scrapped, probably for time and effort. But they both stood out to me, and I thought, I wonder what people would prefer to see, because I personally really like the lunch lady, but that's because one of my favourite parts, in fact, my favourite part of any of the games is the school. So I would like to have spent more time there, because you can traverse the school in 20 minutes easily. Wow. Oh, this one looks pretty even so far. So far, steady away. Oh. I'm trying to find the live stream part, but I can't see much. It's okay. Don't worry, Faceless. I will find your artwork. I promise you. I absolutely promise you. I will make a point of it. Solomax, what's your favourite part of each Little Nightmares game? So my favourite part of this one is the school. My favourite part of the first one is the kitchens with the chefs. And my favourite part of Very Little Nightmares is the butler's quarters, because the butler's my favourite character in that one. I just think there's so much more to the butler than we actually know. And I love watching him work and just go around, being all mystical. His arms are all tied up and he's just like, you die. And there's just like switches is there. He just like directs his eyebrows to screen left and you get crushed by a washing machine. He's just so hardcore. I would have had an aneurysm just crawling through the vent normally. Yeah, so would I. Third chef all the way. Lunch lady would be cool. Yeah, this is a very even one. Lunch lady's winning, but just by a touch. Lunch lady. Maybe she actually died because of her head getting stuck in the vent. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe she's still in there. We don't know that she got out. We don't know that the teacher survived. It's implied that she did, but we don't know that she's not trapped. I've already had enough chefs. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I would vote lunch lady, not only because the school is my favourite part, but also because the chefs have been done. And while it would be cool to see the third one, and it would be quite interesting to see what he brings to the table, like no pun intended, he absolutely has been done. Like he wouldn't be a surprise to anyone, I don't think. But it could be a cool cameo. It would be interesting if, like, when we're at the carnival, let's say this, in Little Nightmares 3, we go to the carnival, and there's some stalls set up where all the guests are eating. They go to a hot dog stand and a burger stand. Maybe we get a look at one of the burger stands where somebody's serving up food, and maybe it's the third chef, and maybe that's where he is. He retired from them all, and he moved. Or maybe he got fired from them all, and he was sent to work somewhere else, and he works at the carnival now flipping burgers. Who knows? Third chef looks goofy as hell. I always thought his head looks way bigger than the other ones. Third chef because we already seen the lunch lady. Yeah. Reunite the chefs with the lost brother. Gemini is 1,000. Would you rather stop at? I don't actually. I've got 20. And I try to think of more all the time because they're a good little thing to keep the community talking, because obviously theory videos are hard. Like, theory videos take a very long time to make and even longer to research. So it takes me like between a week and 2 weeks to make a theory video. And that's if it works out. I have, like, usually when I make a theory video, I'll go through 3 or 4 theories that I eventually debunk myself. So I'll do so much research that I'll prove my own theory wrong. So I can't put that out to you guys to speculate on, because I'll know it's wrong. So even if some of you guys overlook some of the things that I've deep dived into, I'll know that I was wrong, and I'll know there's no chance of it ever coming true. So although it'll like get some views and spark some interest, it's not worth trying to push to you guys. Like, So the would you rather's basically I can make them quite easily. Like I can think of a question and throw one of those videos together in about 3 hours, like 2 or 3 hours, something like that. Maybe less if I really sit down and think about it. So yeah, the would you rather's are a nice way of sort of keeping people talking and keeping the hype going and keeping people interested, keeping theory wheels turning, as it were, keeping the theory machine well oiled until we get some more information. Because I can only make so many theories. And I can only explore so much because I only have so much source material to draw from. And until we get more, these theories are going to be few and far between. And again, they're very hard to make. And I don't want to leave you guys sitting there for 2 weeks with nothing. So if I think of a question, I'm sort of like, oh, well, maybe my audience would like to debate on this a little bit, so I'll make a would you rather. But yeah, I don't have thousands of them, but I've been asking these kind of questions for years, so I've got them stockpiled up here, but I've still got to sit down and make the videos. And generally, I make them for live streams. I release them as shorts later on, but I open them in live streams so that you guys have got something to discuss in the chat while, if I'm not talking very much. Or I'll say I was playing the game, which I'm not, but let's say I was sitting down and actually focusing on the game and not reading the chat. It gives you guys something to do in the meantime, something to speculate on. Okay, sorry, where are we? Sorry, did you read my comment about the teacher in the vent? I accidentally was watching a video of it behind it, so I spent... No, that's okay. Yeah, I did, yeah, because I thought that the teacher would have an aneurysm. I agreed with what you said. She smashed it. She could have smashed her head up in there on the way through the vent. Has anyone ever tried going with 6 to the dead bully bodies once you save her? No, actually. No, I've never gone back, funnily enough. Interesting. Faceless, no worries. You got school in the morning. You go do that. Not a problem. It's great to see you, Faceless. And again, I will check out your art, I promise you. The chef's part was so cool, my personal favourite too. Glad to hear it. It would be a cool story that if the third chef was abandoned by the twin chefs and the third chef ended up being a nice person. Yeah, he could be. He's got a really big smile. I decided to make myself understand the OST of Very Little Nightmares, which is easy because there's only 14 on the OST. And I realised the second part of the Butler's theme sounds like a vibing washing machine. Like a vibrating washing machine, does it? Interesting. I'm going to have to listen to that. Fairy Ink 787 says, hello. Hi. Great to see you. Really nice to meet you, Fairy Ink 787. How are you today? How did the first loop of Little Nightmares 2 work? Because I'm not sure how the Thin Man's powers work. How did he go back and help his old self? If he was the first mono to be stuck in the loop, if that makes sense. Yeah, exactly. See, this is something that it draws me in. So it could be that Mono is not the Thin Man, but he replaces the Thin Man. So maybe no matter what, like no matter who ends up in that position, they always grow to be a Thin Man, whether or not they're Mono. It's really convoluted and I don't understand it, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend to. But one of the concepts earlier on that I heard of, it wasn't my theory, but somebody else thought of this, was that he might not be the Thin Man, but he might just be the Thin Man's replacement and therefore take on his appearance. Same concept for 6 being the lady, when really she's not the lady, she just replaces the lady and eventually grows to take on her appearance because that's what happens to people who are corrupted by the nowhere. It could be that, but I have no other way to really explain it. I just don't know. Because time, like quantum theory would come into it a little bit if we're going to talk about like time loops and grandfather paradoxes and so on. But basically, by looking into that, it just essentially disproves everything that you try to prove just by default. It's really awkward, so I never really look into that because I don't think at this point it's explainable. I'm hoping Little Nightmares 3 helps us with that, though. The Barber or the Mirror Man? Ooh, the Barber. The Barber. I know the Mirror Man's got more lore behind him and he's a more exciting character, but my brother in real life is Barber. And I always wanted him to have a link to the game. He's never played it and he's never been interested in it and he's never watched any of my videos. But I'd really like for my brother to be... Because I call my brother Sweeney, like as in Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber, because he's a brilliant barber. He's excellent, but he's also wicked with a cutthroat razor. And he'd always like go to shave me and then give me that look. in a mirror. And I was like, oh no, this is where I die. But yeah, and I'd love for the barber to be an actual character in the game. I'd love to show him that. Whereas the Mirror Man, I think, I feel like I'd know what to expect with the Mirror Man. But I don't know, I'm just biased towards the barber. I feel it. I feel the next trailer coming soon. I feel like it's going to be the end of February. I think it's going to be the middle of February. I feel like it'll be February 11th or around that date because February 11th was when Little Nightmares 2 released. They released on February 11th, 2021. So I hope you're right. But I also hope it's sooner. Even if it's not a trailer, I just hope we get something. So I'm actually trying to understand the complexity of a time loop. Big mistake. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of brain breaking. Alex the Frog, do you think religion exists in the nowhere? And if so, what would they be worshipping? Well, if you have a little look at my playlist, a video I released on Christmas Day was called The Fallen Theory, and it was kind of a spoof theory, but I played with it a little bit because the concept was interesting. But I think that the if there is a religion, like, okay, let me get this out of the way first off because religion's a controversial subject on YouTube. But I think that they intentionally avoided religion because it's controversial. They don't want to isolate or alienate any particular group. So it's like they don't want to involve religion, at least in the conventional sense. So it's absent from the game. But I think the closest thing they have to religion is the eye symbol. And I speculated in my video that that they worship the devil because the devil, basically, the nowhere is hell, and the devil there is in charge. And the eye symbol is what represents the devil or Lucifer or Satan or whatever it is you want to call him. And that's why we don't find any churches or any crosses or any religious paraphernalia, because the devil wouldn't allow it in his domain. And the reason the eye symbol is what he chooses to not only appear as, but also be worshipped by, is because Lucifer was a seraphim. At least what I've read is that he was a seraphim. And a seraphim does not look like a conventional angel or a horned red devil. It's just a mass of eyes. It's just a huge mass of eyes and wings and eyes. And you can't really conceptualize it. Like, as a human being, if you were to look at it, it'd just drive you mad, like the signal tower does. It'd just make you, it'd make you freeze up. You wouldn't know what to do with it. You can't conceptualize it. So it would appear to us like a mass of flesh and eyes. It wouldn't make any sense. And that's why I feel like that's what that could be. But it would, like I say, it was just a spoof theory. It was a bit of fun. I released it on Christmas Day. You should check it out. But I think the actual reason there's no religion in the game is because it's controversial and they don't want to isolate anybody. The game is open for everyone, regardless of your colour or creed. Whatever you believe in, whether you're religious or not, this game is for you. And I think they've exemplified that by not including a particular religion or a particular language. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, time loops have no beginning and no end. True. When Little Nightmares out, you should do streams of playing Little Nightmares with a viewer. Yeah, I potentially will, Ghoul Games. I might even look into playing it with friends or playing it with viewers, or having a competition or something like that. I might do another poll, not a poll, like a tombola, a raffle. So all of the people that want to play with me can put their name into the hat, and then I'll have my team counted up and then pick one randomly, and then I'll reach out to you and maybe we'll play it together on the channel or something like that. That could be something for further down the line, absolutely. Friendly fire in Little Nightmares 3 would be funny. Yeah, it would, but I would straight up be using it for my advantage. I'd just be chasing Law around, just smashing him with it. I'd just be always wrenching. I'd probably do it by accident. I'm sure we didn't expect it, but in the right way for Little Nightmares 3. Yeah. I have a theory about the Thin Man and Mono works as time loop. It's too long to explain. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, explain it in a comment, because there's a good chance I will read it. In fact, 100% I guarantee I'll read it. It's just whether or not I'll be able to address it in a video, I'm not sure. But it'd definitely be interesting to know. And you should always put your opinions and speculations out there, because you might have something that nobody's come across yet. Kind of makes sense how they replace the Superior. Yeah, kinda. It's trippy AF, I agree. Dead Gnome in the freezer in the kitchen chapter tells you a feeling of that you're not supposed to be here. This is a danger. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it definitely does. It's like, yeah, being a gnome isn't safe at all. You are not safe. Streams always make me extra excited for Little Nightmares 3. It makes me excited. Nada! Hello! How are you? I didn't notice you were here. I believe that he believed he could after the past. The way the world was, if he existed as an old man, that time travel from the future, that he has to be in the future, and the time travel to elaborate. How he could exist in the past. It creates a closed loop. It doesn't reoccur. Oh yeah, interesting. Yeah, I never thought of a closed loop theory. That's interesting. Yeah, that's actually a fair point. Oh, P Gamer, welcome to the stream. How are you? I didn't know I live in the nowhere. I live in the nowhere. My town is a hole. I have to live in Ohio. Sounds about right. What's your favourite fan theory someone has ever put on your channel? Or if you've ever taken inspiration from one? Probably the spectrals theory. So somebody posited a long time ago that there was higher beings than like the Thin Man and so on. And they speculated that the signal tower, you know, the monster in the signal tower, whatever the signal tower becomes after we free Six, that is a being of its, on its own. And that is the true form of whatever runs the nowhere. And they call them the spectrals. And it was the first time I'd ever heard the term the spectrals used before. But it opened my eyes to a couple of ideas to what else could be going on. It made me think, well, if the signal tower is a spectral and a living being, maybe the maw is too, and maybe the nest is too. These are areas that, they could be truly alive. Maybe that's why they're covered in eyes and there's so much like intricacy about them. But yeah, without that person's theory, I wouldn't really have considered it that much. I did wonder what it could have been, but when I wrote the Fallen theory and I was coming up with ideas about it, even though it was like a spoof theory, a lot of the research I did came from the notion that this creature was a deity of some kind. And I wouldn't have thought of that without this person's description. I wish I could remember who it was. But yeah, that was probably my favourite one that I've ever seen. But it's hard to pick a favourite because there's hundreds of them now. Any clues why the Maw has more eye symbols than the Pale City? Probably because the Maw needs them. So Fire Fun Time, I think that the Maw needs them to keep the children in check because the Maw doesn't have many televisions. In fact, we only see 2 functional ones. So the eyes are sort of to keep people in place, like because there's no TVs to distract people's attention and to warp their perception of reality, whereas the Pale City is littered with them. So while the Pale City uses the TVs as a way to hypnotise and monitor the denizens and the dwellers and the viewers, the Maw doesn't have the TVs. Or at least the people on the Maw are privy to them. That might even be the reason why the janitor's mask is pulled down. It might be that Roger isn't blind, but he pulls down his mask intentionally, just in case the TV ever comes on, because he knows what happens to people when they look into it. But if he pulls the mask down over his eyes, essentially blindfolds himself, then he can't be drawn in by the signal. Or at least it helps him resist it. The same way Mono covered his eyes to walk towards the TVs when he was being pulled towards it. That could be a potential idea. But I think the Maw has more eyes because it needs them as a means to monitor the children and the people and the guests and so on, rather than the televisions in the Pale City. Gemini, do you have hard to the core achievement? Yes, I do. Yeah, complete it in 1 hour with 0 deaths. I do. I actually got it first time. The first time I played the game, I got it. Not the first time I played the game, but the first day, because I played it through once on the channel, and then as soon as I finished recording my last video, I immediately played it again and basically back-to-backed all the trophies because they weren't too hard to get. Hard to the core was a difficult one, but I did get it. I think I got it on like my 3rd or 4th playthrough. I can't remember. But it was fun. It was good to do. Hey, I just had an idea for one of the monsters that could be in Little Nightmares 3. Just a suggestion. Since we often see candy and sweets, it wouldn't be surprising to see a dentist. Yeah, indeed. In fact, there was a dentist conceptualized really, really early. Tarsier Studios were initially working on a game called The City of Metronome, and I haven't seen much outside of concept arts for it because it was a scrapped project. It didn't actually make it into full production, unfortunately. But the City of Metronome, one of the first concept arts is the main character in the top hat with the long nose holding something like a newspaper outside of a dentist's office. And in the window, there's a big, huge dentist that looks a little bit like the Doctor working on a client, like working on a patient in the chair. I'd love to see a dentist. I think a dentist might be a little bit too similar to the Doctor, but I also feel like there's a lot they could do with it. If like a warped, distorted dentist idea would be a lot of fun. I want an explanation for the shoe and pit monster. We have no clue what that was about. Yeah, likewise. I think that would be great. Also, Gemini, I have a theory about what exactly the spiral is. I might DM you it soon. Yeah, please do. If you think it's credible, by all means do. Again, I will get back to you, I promise. It might take a little while because I get so many messages throughout the day. But please, if you've got any thoughts, theories, or speculations, hit me up. I'd love to hear it. Personally, dentists have always made me uncomfortable, especially because the experience I've had at dentists and children are often afraid of dentists. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I couldn't agree more. I think if it wasn't for the similarity between a doctor and a dentist, then it would have been all but guaranteed. Because if we think that Little Nightmares is based on childhood fears, then yeah, Dentist is definitely up in the top 10. Like, it's absolutely valid. I think I said something similar once, but they were referred to as super beings in the theory I read. Yeah, I don't even know where the term the spectrals came from. I think it was from the Reddit. I'm not entirely sure. If we got Little Nightmares 2 DLC based around the Secrets of the Maw, but called Secrets of the Pale City, what monsters would be in each DLC chapter? I think the barber would definitely make an appearance. I think the teacher would make a return, given that we don't kill her. The lunch lady would come back, and then maybe the thin man, just to sort of like tie things up. That's how I think a DLC would work with those guys. The people are complaining about the yellow colour palette at the whole outside of the mall has... Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's funnily enough, you're right. When we go outside of the mall for the first time, the sun is up and the colour palette is yellow and like orange, kind of like the Nowhere is. So, yeah, kind of like the Necropolis. So yeah, you're right, actually. Good observation. Oh, I went to a dentist a week ago, but I haven't been in years since COVID. Like 7 spot. Oh, yeah, I know. Zushiki, I feel you. I've actually had some work done recently myself. Because like yourself, after COVID, I couldn't go to the dentist. We didn't go for like nearly 2 years. I couldn't go get a checkup, and sure enough, I ended up with a cavity because I drink a whole bunch of cola, and it doesn't do anything for your teeth. So yeah, totally feel your pain there. 60% of the kitchen chapter is the yellow colour palette. Yeah, you're also right. Yeah, if we're thinking colour theory, then you're not wrong. This is another reason why I feel like moving forwards with Little Nightmares is, the changing colour palette is the least of our concerns. Really, it's not that big a deal. Because as long as the gameplay, the atmosphere, I feel like the music plays just as important a role as the colour palette does. I think if the OST hits home, and I think that Tobias Liger is actually working on it as well. I don't know if they're making it directly themselves or if they're working, if they're heading a team or something like that, but I do know that they've influenced it in one way or another, so I'm sure the OST is going to be phenomenal. And I feel like that has just as much impact, if not more, than the colour palette itself. Do you think Little Nightmares 3 will get a DLC? Probably not. I hope it does, but if Little Nightmares 2 is anything to go by, then I don't think they will. Speaking of the Maw, do you believe the Maw is alive? Yes, I do. There's a lot of concept out showing the Maw with legs as well. Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think that the Maw is a living organism, the same as the Signal Tower was. Boom Bam Studios! I just got here, so I don't know if you covered this, but what do you think of the theory that the Hunter is the third chef? I don't think so. I don't think there's much merit in that, only because of the dimensions. I feel like the third chef would be a lot dumpier. Like, if we look at the Hunter, he's quite lean and muscular. He's quite, like, he's a bit tanky, isn't he? I mean, if we look at our boy, if we get a look at the Hunter, like, look at how strong he looks. He's such a beast, isn't he? It's just like, he's going to fuck me up. You can't get me! But look, like... I do agree that it would be cool I do agree that it would be a cool concept, but yeah, I don't think that it really stands to reason because I feel like the chef is quite fat, dumpy, and soft and doughy, whereas the hunter looks quite lean and muscular and only looks as bulky as he does because of his layers. They said I really need the optometrist to get you qualified. Fair enough. Hope you make a return to all memories in the game. Yeah, I agree. Do you think the City of Metronome is in the same universe as Little Nightmares because there's a photo of the cover? I think it's just an Easter egg. I think initially there was a plan to make the City of Metronome Little Nightmares. Like they could tie it in that the City of Metronome is either the future of or the history of the Nowhere. But I feel like the Little Nightmares, as it is fully formed now, stands on its own without the City of Metronome. I'd love to see the City of Metronome come out. I'd definitely play it and experience the world because Tasia are phenomenal. And I feel like even their early work would be great. But I don't think it really has a place tying into Little Nightmares. I think it would be a bit too jarring of a switch. Because although they are similar worlds, they are different. So I think if they try and tie them in together, it might be a bit uncomfortable for OG fans like myself who we're stuck in our ways and know what we like. Notice that the nest in the more of a more greenish water, while the Pale City has much clearer blue water. It could be a difference between an ocean and a stream. Absolutely. That could be a hint on where they actually take place. Whole childhood fear thing, I don't understand where the hunter and janitor come from. Well, I think the janitor is like the boogeyman. You know, he's like unsettling and impossible looking. You know, he's blind. He has a huge mouth and long arms, so you can't escape. And he's always like. In fact, the first place we see him is in the nursery, in the prison section of the mall, in the nursery, reaching under the beds and stuff. Like comes into the room at night while they're sleeping. I think the idea of the janitor is supposed to be like a boogeyman kind of concept, which is how he ties in. As far as childhood fears with the hunter goes, I mean everyone's scared of getting shot, I guess. I'm not really sure about the hunter. I think the hunter could be fear of the woods, because there's some people that are afraid of the forest and the outdoors and the wilderness. Like even me, when I go for long walks, I walk 5 miles a day. I go for long hikes and I trek all the way up to the woods. And sometimes when I've got no music on, the woods are unsettling. Like even in the daytime, it's like there's a lot of noises that you can't explain, and there's a lot of like what if this, what if that, what if I step there and there's a trap in it, what if there's a bear? I don't know. We don't get bears here, but when you're alone in the woods and you can hear noises, you invent all sorts. I think the Blair Witch is coming. It inspires me to run. So it could just be, fear of the wilderness, but I'm not sure. So that's a good question, actually. Yeah, exactly. That could very well be as well. What Sushiku just said there about your parents warning you about how dangerous it can be, and yeah, janitor's a boogeyman. Someone help! I can't stop whistling Little Nightmares 2. Oh, honestly, it's the screensaver of my brain. I sit there at work all the time just going, People are like, what's that? In fact, I was doing it in town one time and somebody stopped me and they were like, Little Nightmares. And I'm like, yeah, Little Nightmares. And I ended up shaking their hand and stuff. It was cool. I tried to beat Very Little Nightmares, but the puzzles are all goddamn hard to figure out. Yeah, some of them were a little bit perplexing, but I mostly found Very Little Nightmares hard because it's difficult to use the screen as your controller rather than an actual controller. Mythic Cheese, what's up? Welcome to the stream. It's good to see you. Things were Supermassive. They could go for a DLC. It is a new dev. Absolutely right. Mythic Cheese is totally right, which is why I didn't want to be 100% certain, because the thing is, they didn't just buy this IP, and I'm assuming they bought the IP. And even if they didn't take on an IP this big and this exponentially growing just to do one game. So I'm sure we'll get something else. But whether that's a follow-up game, a DLC, a TV series, I know they're bringing out books. There's 2 books that I've pre-ordered, actually. I've forgotten what they're called now, but there are 2 novels coming out for Little Nightmares. You guys should check on Amazon for those, actually. Hunter's face is revealed in a portrait in his house. It doesn't look like the third chef's face. No, nada. I think it looks like the Doctor. I know it's a picture of the Hunter, and I think that it was an early concept for the Hunter was the Doctor, but then they decided to utilise that concept for later on. Unless it is a picture of the Doctor, and that's why they are linked together. I speculated earlier on that the Hunter is trying to replicate the Doctor's work by bringing the inanimate object in his house to life. And that's why he's got the taxidermy family, and that's why he has the Doctor's portrait in his house, if that is in fact the Doctor. And it's also why he has the mannequin parts, the masks and the prosthetic arms and the mannequin body in his attic. I think he's trying to replicate the Doctor's work, so maybe he's linked to the Doctor in some way. Maybe they're related, maybe they're friends, maybe he went to see the Doctor and he showed him how to do it or something. I don't know, but yeah, it is interesting. Another thing that worried me is how much of the game they're able to make in 3 years. Yeah, well, saying that, they made the entire Little Nightmares 2 in about 3 years. Do you think Roger and the Hunter might return since they aren't confirmed kills by 6? I don't know. Like, it's tough to say. I feel like if they do, they won't be the same as we know them. Like, the janitor might have no arms or loads of arms or whatever. We thought about this the other day on my on my theory video. Which one? The talisman theory. And I conceptualized Giga Roger. Funny how certain people like me and Abyss are always here. Yeah, it's always good to see the familiar faces. Like, there's a lot of new people in the chat today, which is great. But I also like to see some of the familiar people. Also, if some of you guys are new to the stream, I haven't been here for a while, please drop me a like if you're enjoying this kind of content, because I like doing this with you guys. It's a lot of fun, and it seems like I haven't really thought it through, because I intended to play the game, and I just haven't. But the idea of this stream was not to play the game. The game's background noise. The idea was to read your comments and your theories and speculate with you and converse with you while I'm able. Because, like I've said a couple of times, and you guys, I'm sorry if you're getting sick of me saying it, but because I get hundreds of comments on every video, and I can only address like 3 or 4 of them at the end of every theory video I make, it's difficult, and it's easy for you guys to feel like you're being ignored or dismissed, and that's not the case. I just don't have the time or the commitment to get everything done. Whereas if I invite you all to a live stream and then answer your questions and read your theories and speculations live and address them, you can see that I am here and I do care and I do want to know. It's just hard for me to keep up. So yeah, if you haven't, please drop me a like on this video, because that would be really, really nice of you. And if you've got anything to say it now, because we've been going for 3.5 hours and I am running very short on time now. And I feel like my computer's going to explode if I leave it on for too much longer. So I'm going to drop you guys another Would You Rather, because I did make a couple of these specially for this stream, and I would like to see what some of you think. So let me just see what this one brings. Again, drop me a like, subscribe if you would like to, and ring the notification bell as well, because I did a giveaway a little while ago on my last live stream, and I'm considering doing another one. If you guys would like to see that, or if you guys think that's a good idea, let me know. But for now, consider this. Yeah, so, those people asking about the books, their books are coming. They're not out just yet, but they do exist. They're in production. They haven't been released. I've pre-ordered them on Amazon, and you can do the same. I've forgotten what they're called. I think one of them is called Little Nightmares, A Journey Through Nightmares, and the other one is called, what's it called? Oh, what's it called? It's something like Little Lost Things or something like that. I don't know, but you guys will be able to see it. I can't look it up now because my screens are all full, and if I click off, the stream will end. But yeah, Giga Roger. Yeah, Giga Roger is the scariest thing. Yeah, Little Nightmares 3 enemy confirmed. Yeah, that idea of Roger being just like, if you tore off his arms but he's still alive, so he just slumps down onto his chest like the Titan. Like the Titan off Attack on Titan, or like Shin Godzilla, where it's literally just his chin trailing along the floor. He's just like flops down to his chest and drags his stomach along the floor because he has no arms to chase you with. I think that'd actually be scarier than what we got. Need the signal tower to hypnotise me. Yeah. Yeah, you guys, if you haven't heard of the books, look them up. I'm definitely going to order them. I feel like you should as well, because I feel like it will reveal a lot about the nowhere. A viewer, I don't enjoy food nearly as much as technology. That's actually a fair comparison. Most of the people today IRL are either viewers or guests. Solarmax, you're dead right. That's not even wrong. I mean, I was thinking about this earlier on, literally about 4 hours ago. I was in the bath, right? Not that you needed that image, but I was literally in the bath with my phone, and I was looking up Little Nightmares, like just concept art and theories and stuff, because I was listening to the music, because I listen to the OST just all the time. And anyway, I sat in the bath and I was thinking, wait a minute, and that image came to me of the viewer in the bath with the television, and I was like, oh my god, I'm just that, like that. I am that scene, I'm just in the bath with the screen, but like a modern day viewer like that. I was like, this is so creepy. And I put the phone down. I was like, that's so dangerous. And I'm just sitting here with the phone in the bath like an idiot. Boomham Studios, yeah. DLC. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to read some of these comments. This is fairly even, actually, because I think it does come down to whether or not you prefer TV or food. Titles of the books are Journey Through Nightmares and The Lonely Ones. Yes, that's right. Thank you, Google Games. I appreciate that. Yeah, The Lonely Ones and Journey Through Nightmares. They are the names of the books, and you should have a little look into them. I personally am going to be ordering them before long. Well, I've already put them on my list of things to order, but I have... but you can't actually order them yet. You can just kind of pre-order them. The same as so Just Jord and Super Horror Bro Mike, who have both worked on The Sounds of Nightmares episodes 2 and 5. They've also collaborated on a game, and that's called Glitched Out, and that's available for pre-order on Steam. And I definitely recommend you check it out, because those guys are legendary, and they will have definitely taken some inspiration from the games that we love, because they are like intrinsic parts of the lore now, given that they've actually written some of it. Little Lost Things is one of the tracks, so it's possible that's the name. Yeah, possibly. In fact, Abyss, Little Lost Things, when does that track play? Tell me when Little Lost Things plays. Viewers, your videos are in the TV I'm hypnotised by. Thank you, Glitched Ghost. Does that make me the thin man? I had to open my jaw because it was too small for me to eat, but I want to push the TV in the water. Yeah, I'm a big gum chewer, and they said it was most likely what caused them. Ah, I see. Sad Sushiku noises. I cannot give up YouTube. I wouldn't either. Yeah. If I had to give up, like, people ask me all the time, would you give up Facebook or YouTube? Facebook, 100%. Gemini, what are your current theories you intend on putting upcoming videos if you've thought of them? Ooh, right. So I've got a whole bunch of them that are sort of swirling around in my head, but none of them are concrete and full. It's just basically a list full of notes that I've made regarding. You can't see my book, but I've made a bunch of like they're just random arbitrary notes like that, where it's just like if something pops into my head, I'm just like, oh, this would be cool. And as time goes on, I'll find more and more links that string these theories together and actually give them merit. But none of them are fully conceptualized because I have to dedicate like an entire week to going through this stuff and researching it and looking into not only the lore, but I have to play the games through over and over and over again. I have to watch other people's playthroughs. I have to watch other theory videos. I have to study the topic that links it. So I don't have any fully fledged theories that are ready to go just yet. But there's a whole bunch of them just sitting there like in the wings waiting to be confirmed. But there's not much further I can go with some of them until we get more Little Nightmares 3 footage. One of them actually, I am thinking about doing one surrounding the gnomes, and why we find them everywhere and stuff. Because I've talked about them being like in the mail and stuff like that before. I've addressed it in a couple of live streams, and I feel like it is something that has merit, and I've got enough behind it now to make it a fully fledged theory video. If you guys want to see a theory about the gnomes, then let me know. I just felt like that didn't really take priority because most people these days want to hear information about Little Nightmares 3. So if I bring out information about like when I did a flashlight theory, or when I did a theory surrounding the runaway kid, or like anything from the earlier games, people aren't as interested in them as they are in theories about the new game, because most people have their own theories on the old games. But like, if enough of you are interested in hearing my theory about the gnomes, then I will absolutely I'll follow that up and I'll get that out as soon as I can. What if the nowhere is one of the 9 circles of hell? Yeah, we don't know. It's not. It could very well be. In fact, when Noon from the Sounds of Nightmares travels to there, she finds a place she calls it the in-between place. And the in-between place is just sort of like represented by like mist and fog. That could be like a purgatory in between. In fact, yeah, here's one then. I'll tell you what, I'll give you one more theory. Let me just read a little bit of this. I'm scared you would ever get bored if you play the games too much, but I doubt that would happen. Yeah, likewise. I played through the games dozens of times. I've got like 100 hours worth of play time and I'm still not bored. I have a larger mouth, so it's not a problem for me. Little Lost Things is also the name of the... Oh, sorry, yeah, I missed it. Yeah, I guess. It plays in the beginning of the lair in the room with the wooden stairs. Aha, right, interesting. Just because I'm thinking if it's linked to the books, then maybe some of the information, like some of the questions that we've asked in that room with the wooden stairs in the lair, maybe that's where maybe the book explains some of that. Maybe it answers some of those questions for us. Bro, how is there this much talk with Little Nightmares? Bro, honestly, I'm telling you, bro, platinum this game and you'll see why. You will understand. One of us. One of us. Okay. I could help you with a teleporting tool so you don't have to play with the game. That'd be nice. Hey, Fulcrum, you made it! Welcome to the stream. Hey, it's lucky you did as well, because I'm wrapping up before long. I'm probably going to stick around another 20 minutes to just call it 4 hours. Don't know whether you went over this, but from your last video, Totem Theory, Lapis Lazuli... Oh, yeah, Talisman Theory, sorry. Lapis Lazuli is used in vampiric lore to protect from sunlight. What if that's what protects our new hero from the sun? It could very well be, because Law is out there for all to see. He's got bare legs and bare arms, whereas Alone is literally head to toe in a full-blown jumpsuit with a pilot's helmet and glasses. Like, she's shaded from the sun on, like, pretty much every aspect of her body, whereas Law, he's fine out there. So, yeah, that could absolutely be, that could definitely be valid there, President. Absolutely. More like none of us. Nope. Fire Fun Time says bye. See you soon. Thanks for stopping by, Fire Fun Time. Wish the first Little Nightmares had a platinum. Oh yeah, if it doesn't have a platinum, RJ won't do it. That's a pity. Okay. Here, yeah. I had a theory that I was going to share with you guys, and I can't remember what it was now. That's a Love how Lauren has a hazmat suit but still has nothing on her feet. Yeah, yeah, true, true. All right, dudes. Let's do another Would You Rather. Because I think it will be my last one, and then I'm going to talk to you guys for the next 10 minutes or so. Oh, shut up, Gemini. I'll still do it. Good. All right, good. Appreciate it. Yeah, all right. We'll do one more Would You Rather because I feel like we've had some fun doing those, and I did make 5 of them, and I will be wrapping up the stream in the next like 15 minutes or so. So if you guys have got any thoughts, theories, speculations, or questions, hit me up with them now. Please don't forget to smash that like button and ring the notification bell because sometimes YouTube has a nasty habit of not telling people when I release stuff. And yeah, any questions for me, please fire away. But for now, consider this last Would You Rather for the day. All right. Okay. That was it's a tough one to end on, but I wanted it to be hard. I thought I'd save the hardest one for last because this one actually makes a difference to a lot of people because I think both of these characters are wonderful and they have a lot of meaning to a lot of people. And that last question between the viewers and the guests was very, very close cut, actually. 55% viewers, 44% guests. So I know 44% of you guys are sitting out there with your McDonald's, your KFCs, your Burger Kings, and the rest of you are literally just sitting staring at the screen, just like vegetating away and not studying. But yeah, that speaks volumes about you guys, not me. What am I talking about? I'm absolutely a viewer. I'm going off now. See you, Gemini. I'll be back in the next stream. Yeah, great to see you, Solom. Actually, appreciate all of your input today. You've had some really, really good observations and some interesting questions. So thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Ooh, a lot of votes for the Runaway Kid. Raincoat Girl, you're getting ignored. Aw, poor Raincoat Girl. I like Raincoat Girl. To be fair, I like all of them. Like Abyss said, I would like to save all of them if I could, but I also don't think the franchise would be quite as impactful if we could rescue everybody. Okay, what do you mean there's Little Nightmares books? Where? Amazon. I found mine on Amazon. So if you have a little look, there's Little Nightmares, Journey Through Nightmares, and then there's there is the other one, Little Lost Things, I think it's called, or something like that, or The Lost Ones. Oh, what's it? No, The Lonely Ones. It's called The Lonely Ones. Sorry. Yeah. They're only available for pre-order, and they might not be out for ages yet, but they do exist. They are on there. Gotta go, Gemini. Cool Games, it's been an absolute pleasure having you around. Thank you so much for your input today. Really, really cool to have you. And thank all of you guys. Thank you to everybody that showed up to the stream. If for some reason you haven't already dropped me a like, please do. And please ring the notification bell to be acknowledged whenever I get a new video out there. Because I have got more coming. In fact, I have one more little theory that I'd like to share with you guys. It's kind of been debunked now. Since the release of Little Nightmares 3, and since the Sounds of Nightmares sort of confirmed a bunch of stuff for us. But would any of you guys like to hear a short theory on the Nowhere from me? Let me know. What do you think? Would you like to hear one last short theory from me? Is there an option between you and RJ to save it might be more closer? Ooh. All three of them could be besties looking out for each other. Yeah, I think it'd be good if they all met up. You know, like if you do actually interact with a group of people all together. You know, like the scene in the DLC where the gnomes all interact with one another. It'd be good if all of the children came together to do something like that. So you had like it couldn't happen, but obviously Mono, Raincoat Girl, Runaway Kid, and Six all together as a unit. Yeah? Alright then. Okay, dudes. This is it. Buckle in. Okay, so it's not a very big theory, and again, like I say, it's already been debunked by the nature of the nowhere already being revealed as it being a nightmare world. But I thought that it's a theory that I had ages ago when I first saw the trailer for Little Nightmares 2, before I even played the game. Because I noticed that there was a lot of clothes, but no people wearing them. It looked like the people had just vanished out of the clothing, and that's still evident in the game. Little Nightmares 2, you'll recognise that there are people, well, there's clothing, like full outfits sitting on benches and sitting in the chairs in the cafeteria and hanging from the frames of the broken down buildings and stuff, but the clothes are fully intact. Like, you know, shoes, coat, pants, and like hats, everything. So these people just disappeared, poof, vanished. And now it's sort of been kind of revealed that, you know, they were like sucked into the tower or something like that. It's not exactly explained, but it also but it debunks my theory. My theory was called the Rapture theory, and it posited that the nowhere was purgatory. It was Earth as we know it now. It is exactly as we know it now. It was society as it was. But the world ended and the rapture came. Now, the rapture is when God, if he exists, takes the righteous up to heaven. Just poof. You immediately die, and like painlessly, and you're hoofed up to heaven, and you meet Jesus Christ, and you meet God, and you live in heaven, and all of the non-believers and the heathens are all left down here on earth to suffer. All the corrupt, the evil, the miscreants, the wrongdoers are all left behind. Oh, President Evil dropping me a dono! This is the thank you from your president for getting me into this wonderful series. You are more than welcome, sir. More than welcome. I'm so... Oh, that's so kind. Thank you so much, mate. I really appreciate that. That's so good of you. Thank you. Yeah, so this theory thinks that... So if the righteous were... That's why everyone that we come across in the nowhere is evil and corrupt. They're left behind. They're left behind in purgatory, as is written in the Bible. When the rapture happens, all the righteous are just beamed up to heaven, poof, out of their clothes. So all the clothes are left behind. That's why there's like pants floating around and like t-shirts falling off banisters and things like that, and why it looks like people have just been evaporated out of their clothes, because the rapture occurred, taking all of the righteous up to heaven. And anyone left behind is evil, corrupted and nasty and sinister and sadistic and everything that we come across in the nowhere. The non-believers are left behind. All the wrongdoers are left behind. And the righteous have been beamed away. Now, that was an early theory of mine, was the rapture theory. And I thought of that when I first saw the trailer. Before I was a theorist of any kind, I just thought, oh, it's the rapture. Like, you know, and it kind of hit me because I just watched a movie called, what's it called? The Remaining. The movie is called The Remaining, and it's one of the best movies I've ever seen. I've really enjoyed it. And it's basically that, you know, there's a group of friends at a wedding, everyone's having a celebration, and then all of a sudden, like 90% of the population just drop dead. Boom. Everyone just, like women, children, everyone. And there's a bunch of people survive, and it's like, how? And then all of a sudden it starts to rain fire and ice, and demons come down from the heavens, and, you know, the trumpets are sounding. And it's basically the rapture. If any of you know what the rapture is and what it incurs, basically Earth becomes hell. Like hell, the gates of hell are opened up and everything in hell comes out and takes over. And anyone that's left behind on Earth, the non-believers, they're all stuck there in purgatory. Whereas all the righteous have been raptured up to heaven, leaving behind all of their clothes and belongings. Anyway, that was an early one from me. And it's the last one that I'm going to speculate on and share with you guys tonight because we've been going for a good long time. Again, I do apologise for the early technical difficulties in the stream. I don't know what happened, but I will figure it out. If you guys enjoyed this, please don't forget to ring that bell for me because it really helps. And also subscribe and smash me a little like if you would be so kind. Special thanks to President of Evil for dropping me a nice little donor. I very, very much appreciate that. This sort of thing is what keeps me going. Like I'm so happy right now that it's been a W stream and you've literally just topped it off for me right there. Made it worthwhile. It's always worthwhile, don't get me wrong, but that's very kind of you, mate. Because like it's your money, you know, your hard-earned money doesn't necessarily belong in my pocket, so it makes me feel really appreciated when you do something like that. And I didn't want that to get lost because I talk a lot and I often forget to thank people for the nice things they say and the kind things that they do. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, W, yeah, I think you heard something similar. Yeah, you probably did. Non-believer. I wonder if the Nowhere came ready with a city and food or a society still needed to be built. Maybe, yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? It's like, is it, you know, did it come custom built like that? Or did they, like, you know, was it corrupted over time? Was it once a fully functioning society? How did you find those books? I can't find them. Oh, I literally just typed it in. Just George said it. I was watching one of Just George's videos. He brought up the fact that there was going to be books. I thought, oh, curious. And I just typed it into Amazon and they both came up straight away. Boom Bam Studios, I think it evolved alongside human society. Yeah, possibly. I've actually heard that somebody did somebody conceptualized hell by saying that hell is really, really muddled up. Like it's basically like someone's taken bits of time. So you'll find mud huts, you'll find buildings, you'll find TVs from the 1970s next to cave paintings. You know, it doesn't make any sense. It's all just crushed together, like it's all of human history crushed in, like condensed into one city, and it's a city called Dis, and it's just like everything from every layer of time, and it's constantly miserable, and it's always raining, and the sun is white, and it burns white. It burns, but it doesn't feel warm, and a bunch of stuff. And a lot of those things link to the Nowhere, and I thought it could potentially be someone's concept of hell, or somebody like the developer's concept of purgatory, or something like that. And maybe it is in some way, but I feel like the Sounds of Nightmares has kind of debunked that, so I didn't want to expand on it too much more. But I thought it was something interesting to share with you guys. And they don't have cover art, Nightmare, not at the moment. They are currently just titles with slight, like moderate descriptions, but it's very, very curious. Like there's nothing on there at the moment. You can't even buy it. I literally just had to click pre-order. Like added it to a wish list, so I'll get an email when they come out, so I can actually buy them. But I wasn't able to do much more than that. There's no cover art or anything, at least none that I've been made aware of. Jord might know. But Jord always knows more than I do. Quick question, do you think all the gnomes are cursed children, or do you think they're a native species? No, I think that they are cursed children. I think that gnomification is a process by which the denizens of the Nowhere, potentially like the most powerful ones like the lady, they use that as a means to control the children that get out of hand. So the ones that try to escape, she just turns into gnomes for one reason or another. There's no images or other official details. Yeah, that's true. But yes, they are official, Nightmare. Yeah, they're 100% official. They are promoted by Bandai and Supermassive. Well, anyway, guys, I only have 5 more minutes until I'm going to call this stream. So again, I apologise for the early technical difficulties. I hope you guys have had a good time here, and I think you get the gist of this stream. The idea was to interact with you guys, have some fun, listen to your thoughts and theories, and obviously I would love it if we could interact more. But it's difficult for me to do outside of live streams, and live streams are rare because I don't get a lot of time off work. But yeah, I really appreciate you all being here. Thank you so much. It's been a brilliant stream, an absolute W. Drop me a few W's in the chat if you would be so kind. And hit that like button if you haven't already, just to make this an absolute win. And I'm going to call it a night because I am absolutely shattered. It's been a pleasure, though. Thank you all so much. It's been really, really cool. I'm going to give you a little eye. There you go. And yeah, for those of you guys that showed up to watch me play the game, I'm sorry you didn't get to see very much, but at least you got to see the hunter take me out. But yeah, thank you so much to everyone that stopped by and for all of your input, your thoughts, your theories, your speculations, your questions. I appreciate each and every one of you. It's been so cool. Thank you again. Very special thanks to my moderator, Casual Hardcore Gamers, our boy RJ, who's going to be covering Little Nightmares 2 and getting the platinum for us. And he's going to do Cuphead too. And a special thanks to President of Evil for your massive dono, mate. I really appreciate that. Very, very kind of you. You didn't have to do that, but it is hugely appreciated. And that's going to do it for this time, at least. But until next time, that's game over. Bye.